in the Tracer one-on-one, which doesn't always result in kill, so it doesn't always not always popping up in the kill feed. But if you edge out that enemy Tracer, force them back to a pack, that's another opening to go, okay, time, I'm gonna go shoot your Orisa now. And as Orisa, I mean, you're dueling plenty, right? You're fighting the enemy Orisa, you're taking spam from the Sojourn, and so when the Tracer shows up on your flank, that can really swing the tank battle. So big impact winning those Tracer duels on the flank, getting yourself a little edge in the fight, snowballs into something much more.
Yeah, I mean, the fact of the matter is that Tap found some early picks on King, especially on Surabasa, to close things out, right? So if you're questioning Citrus Nation, oh, maybe they're, you know, like I said, choking a little bit, you know, giving up the point, not quite sure about their pre-fight plan. Your Tracer coming in clutch, getting a pick or two, I mean, that's just going to make life so much easier. So Tap, definitely a standout in this series.
You know what? I got just a thing for you. Tap, post-game interview. Let's do it.
Wait, Tap is listening?
Yeah, listening. Audio. I just have a tendency of looking at the big screen.
He's tapping in?
Tap was listening. He's tapping in. That's right. Tap, can you hear us?
Yeah, I can hear you guys.
Wonderful. We can hear you as well. So, of course, congratulations on that dub. Some people might have considered you the underdog coming into this one, or not the favorite to win it, but it was a beautiful match, and you guys performed out of your minds. How much further can you take it?
Thank you very much. Well, we're just gonna try to take it as far as we can. I think we have to beat 2 more teams to make it to Dallas, so we're just gonna try our best.
I'm really curious, Tap, you know, you playing with Lethal, I know you guys have played on teams before, but how does it feel to play in like a comfortable damage duo where you guys know each other really well and you guys play off each other really comfortably? What's the dynamic like between specifically the two of you, Lethal and you on the team?
It feels very good because we're both used to each other. Yeah, like you said, I played with him before, so sometimes he will call stuff directly to me, and I can just follow up on that, and we've been doing that for a while, and it's really working well.
How do you guys feel about Citrus Nation's performance in Stage 2 so far? You know, what were your expectations going into Stage 2, and how was your prep for these matches? How are the feelings within the team after taking down Luminosity right now?
It definitely feels good to beat this team. I think they're a very good team. Yeah, as long as it stays Orisa meta, I think we should be a good team. So, because Zev is just the best Orisa in the game, I think.
Yeah, I mean, after the performance we saw today from, honestly, the entire team, there's no doubt about you guys having a great grasp on that Orisa composition. Now, anything out of that, we haven't seen that many other compositions from you guys, but do you have something else up your sleeve, and do you think you will need it going up against the opposition?
I think if we did have something up our sleeves, we probably shouldn't tell you yet.
Smart.
That's a good answer. That's a good answer.
Yeah, 10 out of 10 answer. You understood the brief.
As a coach, I like this answer. I hate like a player get an interview and they're like, yeah, you know, we practiced a couple extra. We got a wrecking ball strategy we're going to pull out on this match.
Listen,
like,
as
oh, thanks. Appreciate that.
I got to shoot my shot. But you caught it. You caught it. Thank you so much for joining us here for a quick chat. Of course, once again, congratulations to you and the team. What a wonderful run we've seen from Citrus Nation so far, and we hope it doesn't stop here. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
That was Tap from Citrus Nation. You gotta try to pull some information out of it. And if I'm not getting it from the players, I certainly am getting it from you guys, because y'all are the big brains, and that's why you are here. John,
yeah,
you're feeding us information.
Educate us.
Educate.
Let's take a bit of a closer look at the Luminosity's ultimate usage and some of their non-existent value here on Eichenwalde. So,
wait a second. Have I seen this illustration before in EMEA?
Well, maybe. I mean, it is a very Lucio Kiriko focused kind of story here. So I don't quite exactly know where we are, but we're in a situation where Luminos has used both support ultimates, and it's actually going to be here where Citrus Nation close out point B on Eichenwalde. So I guess we can close this one out. But the clip not shown here is them using their support ultimates. So just imagine they did they did an oopsie, and now Citrus Nation are capitalizing on that. So you go ahead and play it out, and we can actually see how Citrus Nation does it. I believe you have a play button. There you go. There it is. And so you can actually see that based on the fact that Luminosity have used both support ultimates, that's going to open things up for Citrus Nation. They're going to drop the Kitsune Rush. It's an easy engage. There's no support ultimates really deal with neutrals Kitsune Rush. They are going to bring the right clip, I've been told. So don't worry. We get to see what it's like when two supports misuse their ultimates. Jake, you're going to be so thrilled. This is your favorite thing.
This is my favorite thing to complain about backstage.
Favorite thing to complain about
support
backstage.
ultimates.
It's going to come up there. And when it does, it's going, well, now I've like built up this moment where people are going to fail, which I don't really like, because generally I like hyping people up. But this is going to be the right clip.
No, let's watch them fail.
it's an oopsie. It's not really a fail. It's kind of. They could have done it better. But anyway, so Luminosity, they fall apart on Eichenwalde. Let's see it in not real time, post time. You can go ahead and play it out. Kitsune Rush, Sound Barrier, they come out, they're recontesting on point B. You can play it out. Squid is going to drop the Kitsune Rush, but it goes down. You've already lost your Kiriko. Seb capitalizes, Terra Surge, forces the beat from Juby, and you can see immediately, you use double support ult, and luckily, Vision is going to clean it up. Or not luckily, because it's actually really good at the game. But Vision cleans things up, so at least you win this fight. But because you were forced to use your Sound Barrier, because your Kiriko died, so you didn't have Suzu for the Terra Surge, I mean, that takes its toll so much. So now we can go ahead and play this out. We can take a look again at neutral, dropping the Kitsune Rush, capitalizing on this mistake in the very next fight. So that just tells you that, like, Luminosity, they didn't really get the support ultimate value they wanted, and Citrus Nation, they're going to capitalize that with their own Kitsune Rush, which is such an important ultimate in this meta in particular. Now, after this cleanup, we're going to see them head over to point C. So just a minute or so later, now we find ourselves in a situation where, wow, Luminosity, they actually have 4 ultimates again here. Meanwhile, Citrus Nation, they haven't really built anything. So this should be a pretty simple fight for Luminosity if we're just doing ultimate economy math. So we can go ahead and play this out. They're going to engage. Vision is going to drop a Deadeye, just walking up slowly, but they don't really get any value, so King is going to use his pulse bomb onto Seb. Can we isolate Seb? They don't really get the pick. He stays alive. Meanwhile, Dante is Terra Surging a Cassidy by himself, and Squid has also dropped the rush. So like, okay, we won the fight, but all right, we're defending, guys, but we only have a Sound Barrier. And now Citrus Nation, they're coming back and they're like, okay, really cool, guys. I think this is going to be a pretty good attack from us. So the basic analysis in this next fight is this right here. We can go ahead and play this out. The players from Citrus Nation, they recognize there's nothing to really stop us. We're just going to press the Kitsune Rush. We're going to drop the Pulse Bomb. We're just going to run straight over Luminosity. So that is really 2 mistakes from Luminosity. They don't really get the ultimate value they want on either of defenses or on point B or point C. And that is just a mistake that Citrus Nation easily capitalize on. Not really, life is not difficult for Citrus Nation when you run over your opponent like this. So that just sets up Citrus Nation for an easy win on Eichenwalde.
I noticed a couple of things in those clips I really liked, how you mentioned that, this is, Luminosity is winning these fights, but it's just too expensive. They're over expensive. They get the one ult, but they nothing, and the next ult, nothing, next ult, okay, finally we win, but you're in too much of a deficit from there. But when I saw neutral with this Kitsune Rush, it seems like a small detail, but he's not immediately starting the fight with a rush. He's allowing the tank trade to take place, maybe a DPS ult like a Deadeye to create a little bit of more control on the map, and then the rush comes in when it's almost too late to back out. Like, oh, we felt like we had to come touch the car, neutral's hitting you with the Kitsune Rush, where on the side of Luminosity, it's more easy to kite. There's no forced objective where the enemy can't retreat.
So the big takeaway is getting value from your ult, kind of good. Some teams manage that better than others. Let's take a look at that bracket to see who's currently finding themselves in a good position to win it all and who is out and who is in, all the good stuff. Citrus Nation, they are staying alive and they will be facing off against the students of the game. How do we see their chances going up against them?
That's a big match. I mean, I would call Students of the Game the favorite, but Citrus Nation, they've just surprised us before, and I feel like we can't doubt them. This is the big match, though. This is the big kahuna. Most likely, I would say, that a preface of what the grand finals likely will be based on just pure strength of roster.
Yeah, we had some matches before where they were the one, but this one is also the one. There was a lot of ones, really. I mean, Toronto Defiant, they've looked untouchable last stage, but MAT with their retooled roster this stage around, they look like a serious threat, and Toronto Defiant said so themselves.
They did say themselves. I mean, where you have your players on low ping, and they're not waking up at 7 in the morning.
That's good.
Turns out that's really good. Video gamers, esporters, not really notorious for waking up early and playing in their best form. So Happy and Pelican, this is what we were waiting for them in the United States. That's going to give a much better performance from them. So I'm looking forward to see it. I think Toronto Defiant might finally have a contender for this spot.
Well, we don't have to wait much longer because all of this is going down after a short break. Stretch your legs, grab a drink, and meet us right after this.
Of your hand can set me on fire. Lately, the message is clear. It's one of desire. When we're together, everything feels so right. My mind and body give in to you. I've got the devil in my soul tonight. There's nothing that I won't do. Nothing gonna stop me now. Nothing's gonna hold me back. Nothing gonna keep me down till my love train's running down your track. I'm coming for you, coming for your love. I'm coming for your love. I'm coming for you, coming for your love. Coming on the beat so strong. I can feel our passions burning deep inside of me. Now we found the flavor of the night to set us free. Nothing gonna stop me now. Nothing gonna hold me back. Nothing gonna keep me down till my love train's running down your track. I'm coming.
Welcome back, one and all. I hope you're ready for all of the action the NA region has to offer. We're diving into the winners match, and this might as well be the grand finals match of this very region because M80 will face off against the Stage 1 champion, Toronto Defiant. As I said right before we headed into a break, they looked untouchable. However, this one might be the real contender, and they know it. Toronto Defiant, though, of course, so much star power in one roster. It's kind of disgusting.
It is kind of disgusting. It is pretty disgusting. And they're so versatile as well, to the point where you're like, you almost get worried, like, oh, are they gonna like counter us somehow? Like, what are they gonna, someone's gonna bring out some funny hero to play against us? That being said, though, you know, these guys have been scrimming for a long time now. You know, when you only have 2 or 3 really good teams in the region, your best practice actually comes scrimming against your nemesis, right? So Toronto Defiant and M80, these 2 teams know themselves really well, and it's going to deliver.
That's right. We're also delivering something here, and that is birthday wishes, because RuPaul's mom, Nazarene, is celebrating her birthday. Let's see if RuPaul is going to gift her the victory.
Sure hope so.
I mean, they've got.
You can't lose on your mom's birthday.
Exactly. It's all stacked in their favor here. I mean, in seriousness, of course they're the favorite, but this is a retooled, resurgent M80 that's going to be coming in with confidence. Although, I mean, someone I think is the best tank in the world right now. I feel that his flexibility is perfect for Overwatch 2.
Yep.
Toronto is always leveraging it, always putting themselves in the advantage. The rest of the team can handle any heroes they need to. You know, Vega, I think probably the best, fair to say, the best main support in NA right now. But M80, you've got Pelican and Happy, and not just on low ping. These are world-class DPS players. This is like a top-of-the-line DPS roster. You can't really get much better than these guys. So huge eyes on Pelican and Happy to have a huge performance today. And Hawk, I mean, I think there's no better tank in the West to challenge someone on flexibility. Hawk's been grinding the main takes, getting them up to par. And so I'm really excited to see the counter-swapping in the series. I think we're going to be treated to a taste of how the meta might look in Dallas when both teams are highly flexible. They can handle any strategy. Like a lot of the teams who are pretty strong in NA and EMEA are very limited to certain styles, and I don't really see that being true for either M80 or Toronto Defiant. I think they're both very flexible, and I think they're both going to continuously counterpick throughout the series, trying to constantly find any kind of edge on their competition.
I'm just wondering, looking at those two rosters, like who will be the one, you know, forcing the tempo? Who will be the ones who force the other team to swap off of their comforts?
So when it comes to the swaps, I actually agree with Jake that it's going to be someone. And this is actually, when we think about someone's big picture career, someone has had the most success as a tank player when he's actually abused the opposing tank's hero pool. That's how Florida Mayhem, they won the Overwatch League in the playoffs last year by just being so proficient at so many different compositions that they always had an answer. Doesn't matter. Someone can play the Winston, can play the Sigma, can play the Reinhardt. And so you can play so many different styles that you almost put your opponent on the back foot. And I could see something similar here. Okay, fair enough. Hawk, you're pretty versatile. Maybe we want you to play Winston. Maybe we'll force you almost into a situation where you have to play Winston because we're playing some other composition. So this is a roster that is so good at forcing their opponent's tempo and style. I really only think that Pelican is the one on M80 who has a say in things. Pelican is the one who will set the tempo on the Tracer, and Tracer, as we know, historically in Overwatch, such an important hero for determining the outcome.
Yeah.
But I can't help it. I think Toronto Defiant, they won't be surprised by anything being thrown their way. Those are such veteran players of the sport. Like, there's nothing they can't deal with. And I think so far they've shown it. Teams have tried to bust out different things. Didn't work for them. I'm going Toronto with a very convincing 3-1 victory here.
Yeah, I think Toronto's the favorite in this match, but I do think M80 has roads in. I think you're right. It starts with Pelican. The Tracer is going to be huge. I think Happy also has to come in here and at least match Merit. I mean, Merit has really been undisputed best in NA in Stage 1, but he wasn't playing against Happy in Stage 1. And I think there's really no one else in the North American region that I think has any hope in that hit-scan duel other than Happy. So for me, the DPS duel is going to be crucial. And the support line for M80, though, is where I'm a little worried. I think they could struggle, frankly, into how good someone is with his dives. Liar is going to have to be very on point today because the pressure is going to be something he hasn't experienced before, except against probably this team.
Yeah. I decided to spice things up a little, though, and I went with M80. Please, Pelican. I'm betting on Happy and Pelican popping off. They can actually bring it to Merit and Sugar Free. I truly believe that if Happy and Pelican, they play their absolute A game, they are the better damage duo versus Merit and Sugar Free. I really believe that. So Pelican, come out on the Tracer and deliver victory for me.
I mean, you've just been like happy pilled as well. Like you just want like inhaling all those widow.
Oh, you not?
I'm permanently happy pilled.
Right?
Look, Merit's good. I'll give him that.
Merit is also a monster.
But
it's not a super out there pick. I think Toronto Defiant, as we said, they were acknowledging that the only team which can bring it to them will be M80, but will it be enough? We'll find out in just a little bit. And for all the action, I'm going to send it over to Matt and Mr. X.
Just you, actually. Yeah.
Oh, actually.
I mean, it is always just me, right? I mean, thank you, Zoe. It is me here with myself. I'll move over a little bit so I have some legs. I would just be move over a little bit right there. Yep. Yeah, so this is going to be a pretty awesome series. This is actually probably the tallest I've ever been, just in this type of position here. But this is going to be a crazy series. Toronto versus M80. Like they were mentioning on the desk, M80 looks to be the team here in North America that would challenge Toronto. It's just, what does that look like, right? We thought we would see it a little bit earlier in the year, that kind of challenge come to pass, but not really. Toronto just kind of rolls through everybody. This is, I guess, the first real test now for the Defiant.
I think we need to see M80 I mean, Hawk in a position where he can succeed in this tank matchup, right? I think that's where like a lot of the pressure is going to come from. Hawk is no stranger to going up against someone and rarely has been able to come out on top. I can't personally think of a time, you know, I mean, and he was obviously on a team with Donghak, he got rotated in a whole lot to sort of, you know, take that kind of matchup there. I think that's where like one of the biggest risks is for M80. Elsewhere though, like, this will be the greatest challenge that Toronto Defiant has faced in the North American region, and finally M80 have all their pieces in place, including in the United States properly, to take them on.
I'm curious for your opinion. I feel like you're going to know if... yeah, I am. I know I rarely am. Usually I say that and then I just tune out, but no, this time I'm actually serious. I think you're going to know how this series is going to go rather quickly.
Okay, I
I think how this first map goes, like, I think you're going to know how close these two teams are, and you're either going to see a gap or you're going to see something that could go the distance, like the Death predicted. Do you get that same feeling?
Yeah, 100%. Like I said, I'm really looking at in the tank role, but I do think after the first round or so, you'll sort of start to see that manifest a bit. M80 here, we've seen this on OWCS from them as well. Hawk picking this diva when there is a bit of verticality involved in the map, and generally, if she can get a pitched battle against the Winston, she fares quite well. I also like the Pelicans on the Torb. This is going to try and at least attempt to keep Sugar Free a little bit quieter. Good comp here from M80. Very different lineups for both these teams. Only one duplicate hero in the Lucio.
Yeah, definitely like puts a little bit more pressure, you know, on a Sugar Free, right? Putting that, you know, pressure on the back line, going at Pelican with that Torb. It's also a little bit easier to kind of keep Happy up in this type of situation.
Someone went in for something, ends up coming back and getting Suzu'd, kept alive, but Toronto under a fair bit of pressure early on here. M80 actually, in theory, have counterpicks in a couple of different roles. Happy, though, able to bring RuPaul down. That's not great for Toronto, who only have the Lucio to operate with now. Things are going to go from bad to worse if they stick around here.
Now that's massive, right? I know there's no way they can really kind of push in without that Kariko, so they're going to back up. M80 gets control of the point first and gets that first kill, you know, which really kind of results in Toronto just backing all the way out. So far, so good for M80.
We haven't seen Merritt be quiet too many times in his career. So far, though, it's been an inauspicious start to the round for Toronto. Falls back once more as Hawk turns up to accost this Sojourn. And Parakill again now getting harassed down, eventually found by someone. A dangerous battle for someone to take against the Torb. There's actually a lot of really risky engagements that he could be taking. Now able to win out in them though in a big way. Sugar Free, Pulse Bomb stuck to the ball there, catches Liar, and someone's easily able to bring Happy down after that splash damage. Toronto now will be in control.
Yes, they try and actually drop an Amp Matrix there from Ultraviolet to kind of keep things going with a Deadeye on through it, but it's a Pulse Bomb from Sugar Free from behind, takes out the Cassidy, and then everything kind of crumbles after that. So they do get that first pick on the Pelican, then get Happy down. Things fall apart. I'm curious how they go about this, right? You know, attacking with the Torbjorn. The Torbjorn's pretty good once you kind of get control of the point, right? Pushing in, being the offensive, being the proactive team with the Torb can be a bit tough.
Getting to police the off angles, though, and make it harder for Sugar Free rather to walk up on them is pretty important. Someone chased down, has to use Primal there as Hawk gets involved with the micro rockets. Someone, though, able to turn a weakness into a strength. Able to drop down now and disperse all of M80, allowing for Mera to pick up a Liar that was sent flying with an assist of the Winston in that kill feed. Toronto maintains some control here.
Someone is so good. Like, he gets into that situation there. I know the Hindrance has the Primal Rage going and still able to make it in and out with his life as he's going to jump in over the top. It's going to be a sound barrier here for M80. Kind of counter the Kitsune Rush comes through from the Defiant. The Defiant holding onto this beat.
Oh, that could be now. Yep, someone goes a little bit low, and the timing of that is absolutely beautiful. I love seeing teams do this. Come in with the second beat. Happy they're able to pick off Merritt. Self-destruct here will allow Hawk to refresh the mech. And M80, despite, you know, having the earlier sound barrier, might be able to find some success here. Someone a little bit low, but not too bothered, able to jump out, and Happy gets removed by Sugar Free. The Defiant not fully giving up, but they will concede the point for now.
Yeah. I mean, they get that kill on a Happy. Let's see if they try and re-engage. It looks like they just back up for just a split second, get another player back in the fight. Now they're going to go.
Going in. Hawk under pressure. Bubble already used, though, by someone here. Sugar Free highly aware, of course, that Pelican will have reset a turret. More than happy just instead to work on Hawk. They may have got to give up a bit of ground here, but have gotten into the lead now in terms of that capture percentage. And Merritt has to back up again. Happy trying to take some liberties, take some space here in the middle part of the map. And the defense matrix means Toronto can start to push forward, get aggressive. Sugar-free, force a recall instantly. And Merritt taken down by a ribbon headshot. Happy's going to back away with the Baptiste with the Immortality Field, keeps the Cassidy in the fight. Has to be another primal for someone, and Sugar-free follows up to remove the Cass.
Yeah, and Hawk is getting quite low. They're going to have to try and keep him up, keep him in mech, as it's going to be M80 getting it into overtime. So they kind of got what they wanted here. Hold on to the point for this line
Great
now.
Suzu timing there as someone took a fair bit of damage trying to die. The Defiant, though, want to reach a bit further. They haven't capped the point yet. We're in overtime. Sugar-free finally gets rid of the Engineer. The Katrina Rush allows the Defiant to surge forward. They've used all those big ultimates. Nothing really to work with for M80, and a self-imposed stagger by Hawk, who has to jump off the map.
Interesting is Toronto actually just kind of moves
This is
up
so
here.
based.
Maybe they want to catch some of these players here up on this up on the buses. They want to prevent them from even getting out of the spawn. Maybe see if they can find an early pick-off here that could kind of steal this first round.
An attempt at stagger maxing from the Defiant has to be cancelled out there. As M80 will be coming out of spawn in force and in numbers. Still just the pulse bomb to rely on here. Liar's beat. Absolutely crucial. He was highlighted at the start of the game as someone who really had to step up here against a scary Defiant roster. Molten Core, a lot of coverage on that. Tough for the Defiant to stand up here, and Hawk might have an opportunity to burn Merritt down. He's so low, and he gets the kill. Self-destruct just to secure it. Elsewhere, Sugar-free's pulse bomb finally found purchase, but M80 have navigated this beautifully. Someone mostly kept in spawn with that primal rage. And there is a touch. I think Sugar-free, very, very low, was able to keep things going, eventually removed. And the round taken by M80.
And this is the M80 we thought we would see, right? That could definitely give Toronto a run for their money. And, you know, we got players historically who've played, obviously, at the same level, been of the same caliber of the Defiant. So they take round number one with this Diva Torbjorn setup. And I wonder if they kind of try and run it yet again. It looks like at least Toronto, there'll be some changes here coming in, with Sugar-free potentially playing this Genji in combination with a Cassidy and Baptiste and a Risa in the mix, where M80 looks like they're going to be moving away from their comp as well.
Just a reminder, Toronto are 34-1 in map score over the course of this stage 2. They are...
It's pretty good.
They are absolutely dominant. So this would be quite a shock here, even up against an opposition like M80, who in the past the Defiant have handled pretty comfortably in straight games. Now really feeling the pressure though. M80 are a different beast, with all their pieces now in the same locale, so to speak. They're able to get the most out of their DPS. Toronto here take this high ground position through the middle part of the map. We're going to have a rush mirror here. Someone more than happy to match tanks should it be required after the Winston round doesn't go the way he would have liked.
Yeah, I think Toronto, they're fine if, you know, M80 wants to push on in, right? That's where Merritt can get good value out of that. Cassidy is, oh yeah, look at that. I mean, it's going to be Sugar-free putting some pressure onto Happy. He can't even really look at him, and that allows Merritt to just get some free shots off. Takes out Happy pretty much instantly. Is look at this pressure coming in from Sugar-free.
Yeah, I mean, you've used the word twice now, and it's very true, because Sugar-free doesn't need to get kills on his own there. The fact that he makes Happy turn, or at least sort of stresses Happy's mental bandwidth enough that Merritt can punish is huge. Sugar-free confidently going in, even if there's not like a dash reset guaranteed. He has the deflect, and, you know, if Happy can, you know, capitalize and sort of turn that fight around.
I mean,
and
just creating free, easy sightlines for Merritt to shoot is enough, right? You know how good Merritt is. He's going to come out with some
and
kills.
Sugar-free can just dash out if Happy, if Merritt does get the kill, which is, you know, a pretty big deal. It kind of justifies the Genji playing aggressive in the first place. Liar takes a bit of damage there from that Deadeye, but Merritt pulls it maybe a little early. Still, M80 have not had the point yet this round. Now an Ant makes just to contend with. They are getting the heck out of there. That is not something they have any chance of winning. Forced back into spawn with Pelican dropping once more.
Yeah, they find Pelican. He's like in a corner there trying to contest.
Oh, buddy.
Someone pushes up to the spawn. This is not a great position for UV. He's going to use the Immortality Field, trying to keep himself alive for a little bit. As round two looking much more different than round number one, as this one's been all Defiant.
Crucially for M80, at least they have a beat that they can match. They're going to be waiting for their Sugar-free blade, and I would suggest that the Defiant will hold on to theirs as long as possible to make sure they can be advantaged when the fight really comes to a head. It's got to be here for M80. They have to make something happen. Looks very, very good up against the Winston with that Diva setup. That's a Hawk special. This one, though, having to win out in the mirror is a tough ask. Play from Sugar Free doesn't actually force the beat from Liar whatsoever.
Yeah, that was interesting. Yeah, well, I think they knew that Sugar Free probably wasn't going to fully commit, right? Didn't gonna get a dash on through, just use it to get some zoning, and they didn't end up using the beat. Now they do, down a player.
Okay, at least able to trade it out though. Hawk found Sugar Free in the end, but Vega is holding onto the beat. No reason to use it here. Someone is just not low enough to justify it. So they'll have a huge beat advantage now in an overtime fight. Merit's been able to find the Lucio after the fact. Ultraviolet with a heck of a lot on his plate right now, and the damage is real for Hawk. Nothing he can do to withstand it. And even from long range, someone's being topped up through that amp matrix, healing via Rupal. And Happy can only make these tiny little peaks. It's not enough. We have at least achieved a stall here as Pelican instantly recalled after touching the point. And here come M80 behind that Kitsune rush. The Defiant diligently just disengage.
Yeah, they back out. They don't want to fight this, even though they're up one player at the moment. Is Hawk coming back inside the rush? Is Sugar Free back on Tracer, forces the recall of Pelican. So maybe now it's time to go for the Defiant.
Sugar Free on the off angle. Has to respect, though, someone like Happy turning around and ripping him in two. Pelican a pulse bomb now. Any target's a good target at this point, especially with someone down to half HP. There it is, there's the pulse. No real connect on it, but someone gets brought down eventually. Happy had the damage follow-up, even with the Terror Surge from Hawk to set up some displacement.
Yeah, that's huge. I mean, a bit of chaos there kind of no ensues, right? It was we get into OT, but it's a nice Kitsune rush there from Ultraviolet that kind of clears the point there, allows M80 to get the point in. Importantly, stay in this round here is... It'll now be Toronto moving around the outside. Doesn't really have anything to work with at the moment. Maybe just trying to build up this amp matrix.
Once again, it's Sugar Free, this time close to a pulse bomb. And amp matrix from Rupal is almost guaranteed to clear the point. M80 have to be ready for a disengage away from that and have a way to cycle a player on to stall out. Merit doesn't need the amp matrix. Again, another ability that creates a heck of a lot of space very quickly. Sugar Free now in. Oh, Hawk! That amp matrix disappeared right in front of him, and Sugar Free got a full clip of damage through it. Here's the Terror Surge from someone. Liar gets brought down by that. And M80 are in no position to recover now. They don't have enough time. Someone cleans them up. And that'll be one apiece here on Samoa.
Oh, I mean, that is a really interesting, very difficult amp matrix to deal with, right? Rupal drops it like on the M80 side of the entrance to the point, and they're able to like kind of shoot both ways on through it, right? Players coming from the spawn or players that backed up, and then also Hawk in a really dangerous position on the point takes a ton of damage. So really nice use of it from the Defiant to tie this one up.
Yeah, they literally dropped the amp on Hawk. And we're in Sugar Free. We're in Sugar Free's POV, and so kind of from any angle you can guarantee a damage amp because Orisa's model is so wide. You just play from either side of the wall, and you are guaranteed to get a huge amount of amp from that. Toronto looked really good there in the Orisa mirror. They were dominant for most of the round. Now they're going to mix it up. Sigma here on this map is not uncommon. And Toronto more than happy to, again, put some pressure down on Hawk, maybe force a switch or just try and make the Sigma work here.
Yeah, I mean, look, I think Hawk would be totally fine taking like a Sigma head-to-head, right, against someone. I think Hawk probably prefers that than trying to play this Orisa into the Sigma.
The sim is really interesting.
I'm curious of, I think it's like Happy, right? Building up these railgun shots at range, right? With, not a ton of range on the side of the Defiant. Is look at this Hawk, it's really aggressive. They just run right through someone's shield and take him out.
Trade at least for Sugar Free, but that's obviously the issue with the Sigma comp. If the enemy team's able to rush up on you with that speed boost, you're in deep trouble. Hawk found Merit there, and yet Toronto was still able to flip the point early. They've got extreme mobility because of this Symmetra teleporter. And Sugar Free obviously getting to trade one kill after someone went down was a big deal. I have to give it up, but nice little passage of play here. Both these teams, feverish pace they're bringing.
Yeah, and I think you're going to have to try and figure out how to keep someone alive, right? Once that shield is gone, you're going to see them just kind of run him down. As look at this, it's going to be an amp matrix there, just dropped straight through the TP.
Oh, Merit found a headshot there. Looked like there could have been something, but Pelican gets the one clip and finishes off the Cassidy. Someone has to play back behind this now. TP gets rushed through by Hawk, who seems to have a good idea of how to really make it uncomfortable for Sigma to play in any of these pockets. And with Pelican running through your backline here, Toronto might have to switch.
Yeah. I think you have to. I just don't think the Sigma is kind of the answer here, especially with how fast M80 is playing around this Orisa. You have open sightlines for Happy at range. The Sigma just allows them to kind of build up those rails even faster. So if it was me, I would say we probably need to get a little bit of a change up going. But with Sugar Free not swapping, I think you're going to see them commit.
Okay. Someone here determined that Sigma is in fact the answer. But how do they keep EMEA at arm's reach by getting the most out of this longer range poke potential? Because Pelican is creeping up. Affected by a turret instantly, but Hawk rushes on in. So it was the Pulse Bomb that got rid of the Immortality Field, and there was nothing to protect them there from Hawk's Terror Surge. This is beautiful from M80. They are dominating this last round.
Yeah, this one has been a clean sweep this round so far for M80 as Toronto. I think you're so invested in this comp, though, at the moment, right? You know, you have the Sim ult, you're going to have the Sigma ult. There's no way you kind of give these up now, especially with 85% on the point. You're kind of all in.
Close to a Gravitic Flux here, but that's going to be Liar's beat committed to nullify that entirely. Okay, Matrix Deadeye. Ultraviolet just caught out in the open. They got the Immortality Field. I think Ultraviolet was banking on keeping that one up and staying alive, but cleverly, that was removed. So at the death, Toronto able to get back in control and hold a couple of ultimates.
I mean, we'd have to get another look at that. It looked like actually Merit was like booped up potentially by Liar, and it kind of like sent him up in the sky, and he was able to get one with the Deadeye there. So, because it looked like he was going to try and like boop him back, but you know, if you kind of like walk over the side of a ledge, depending on where you're aiming the boop, it can kind of like change the direction. Looked like it kind of sent him up instead of out. Now
Very
it's a
risky.
crazy play.
It's really risky to boop a Cassidy during that Deadeye. Especially if you have like a primal rage and you start juggling a Cassidy and Deadeye, it can go really badly for you. Here's the overclock for Happy. Someone the only target he can perceive right now, and the Symbol's got to completely negate this ultimate.
Yeah, Simwall just splits the point as well, allows everybody play a little bit safer as UV gets quite low, but no push coming in here for Toronto at the moment.
Big damage on someone. He still needs to respect. They give a lot of proximity to this Orisa. 2 caught in the flux, if I'm not mistaken, but the Orisa, of course, just fortifies out of it. Sound barrier from Liar, who'd been holding on to it for literally the entire round for just that situation, has the prescribed antidote. Merit here. Just trying to time that hindrance, maybe to make it impossible for Happy to slide up and out of the point, and someone's in deep trouble. Kinetic Grasp will only prolong his life by a short amount, and eventually Hawk will fill him with bullets. 1 for 1 though. Merit was able to find Happy, but now is at risk of being environmental, let alone killed in general. And Ultraviolet has that Immortality Field here, which will help Hawk out in a big way. And there you have it, M80.
Yeah.
What a performance here. Taking the second map away from the Toronto Defiant here throughout this entire stage. And they look good doing it. They stick to their guns and they come up with the answer.
And you see there at the end, if the Sigma has to step up and kind of play in the same space as the Orisa is going to win. Now Hawk just able to kind of like put so much damage down on someone, push him out of the way, and they're able to deal with that tank rather quickly. Is they're never really able to deal with Hawk when he's on the Orisa on the point there at the end.
3 different tanks from someone, right? Plays the Winston, plays the Orisa, plays the Sigma, and there's just an utter refusal to make any switches, which is fair. There's probably a belief that like you either have a good matchup or you just think you can outplay at the end of the day. But we talked about a tank gap being something someone wanted to create with counter picks. But more often than not, a lot of someone's tank picks were actually a little weaker against what Hawk brought. Like the Winston up against the Diva, that's maybe, debatable. We saw the Orisa matchup, and then the Sigma getting that space taken away by the Orisa on these smaller maps really seemed to struggle to set up and facilitate the rest of that poke comp to succeed.
Yeah, they would have needed to switch off of the Sigma like straight away. It was just they were so committed to it for the rest of the round. This was some sick stuff here from Sugar Free on the Genji, able to kind of get a few dashers, pick up some kills. But yeah, they were so committed to the Sigma. There was nothing they could really do at that moment, right? Get up to a point where it's like 85% on the points. You're still working towards your flux. You're almost there. You kind of have to commit to that.
And Desk said they were looking for the Pelican Tracer to be a difference maker, and at many points in this round they were. Now Pulse Bomb there, while it doesn't get a kill, gets rid of the only piece of defensive architecture that the Defiant can depend on, that Immortality Field. So once the Terror Surge came in for Hawk, it was all too easy. Really impressive stuff here from M80. I think it's very easy to say at this point that they've come an extremely long way, and it's nice to see someone finally put the fear of God in a team like the Toronto Defiant. Now they're going to have to respect their opponents in M80.
Well, yeah, that's what I was going to say. Like, they're going to have to it's a little bit of a wake-up call for Toronto, right? I mean, they're just kind of cruising through everybody. Even if they see M80 on the other side, they're probably just kind of like, laughing a little bit. Like, all right, like, whatever, we'll just play something. And now it's like, okay, they can beat us. Like, what do we... And I think now you look at Toronto and like, okay, can they step up? Like, that is... interesting stats there for a map 1 win. Not typical of Overwatch,
How
right?
much of this is as a result of that second round with the Orisa Mirror, where M80 looked really dominant for so much of that map? That is generally a very significant difference between these teams. But M80, clearly, with less eliminations, were able to find the ones that counted, the ones that really mattered. We have bands of Hollywood and Eichenwalder respectively here. Toronto don't want to play Eichenwalder. Interesting. They like the Winston, but maybe they don't want to be forced into any maps where they have to take that Orisa Mirror. Because Midtown is definitely one where we've seen like Ramacha. We've definitely also seen that Sigma played here. But they look good in the Orisa Mirror. They could absolutely succeed there.
Yeah.
What are they up to?
I mean, what? Sigma, Diva, potentially here, right? Ramatra we've seen. So potentially M80 wants to play some different things, other than the, Orisa. That's how you kind of end up here. We've also seen, interesting backlines here, right? Ilari plus, Lifeweaver. We've seen, Brigitte here. So look at this. So Toronto, they'll come out with defense here with the Ashe in the mix, and then they'll have someone on the Orisa. So Baptiste Brig backline here. Trying to help support this Ashe potentially if the aggression comes through.
All right. Someone more than happy. I guess the Orisa can drop down and really contest that choke up close and personal. And sometimes these Sigma comps have to maneuver themselves into a position to find some success. I'm curious to see what the plan is. I want to hear from M80 here with some team comps. How are they going to get this poke comp set up?
Yeah, they use it.
Hey, let's see what they're on.
Alright, let's go.
What is that?
Wait, Orisa.
I'm going Lucio. I'm going Lucio.
Oh, okay.
No, I don't want to play Brig against
Okay, well, yeah, he's a Lucio player.
Yeah.
They have Ashe.
Ashe?
Okay, Meat Hawk can stay main. I can bait really hard hot. I'm gonna play kite main.
I'm going left side. Trace on left side.
Oh,
Are you happy?
Oh, I think we can't go side.
okay.
Come back, they're gonna push.
He's pushing. Back
We can bait.
Back half. Ask one.
Break.
Break.
Nice Brig.
I think we have
Let's
to.
shield. You want to kill out, check.
We need to break, I think.
Okay.
Can't go side.
Brig.
This is side.
Yeah, that's
I
fine.
go
That's
Brig.
fine.
I go Brig. They're gonna be even square. They're 50 square.
I go left side.
Okay, I'm not there yet. I'm a little late.
Ash.
How about cast getting left? Can we shield our cast?
I'm going left. I'm coming.
Okay.
I have no shield. I have no
I'm
shield.
playing here.
Stay in.
Oh, yeah.
I go left side. They pushing me.
We're done, mate.
Keep with you.
Yep,
I'm walking back, man. Walking back,
I'm
man.
left left side.
I'm going towards point.
Yeah, that's fine. I'm going towards point two. You live.
You good?
You're good. You're
Yeah.
good.
Come here.
Look up, yeah, I'm waiting.
Heal me.
They're walking.
Put it.
I need heal. I need heal.
Trace
Oh,
on
I'm
me.
dead. I'm dead. You're even.
Top.
Yeah, you shoot back.
I'm shooting Rissa. He's isolated.
Shoot back.
Help Holy point. Help Holy point. I get
My point.
square Bob, passer.
Happy, we can come back right window. Happy, come back right.
Yep.
Hawk live.
Yeah,
I'm back soon.
3, 2,
I packed
1.
Holy.
Oh, they're not here. Come back.
Come back.
오른손.
Help me.
I got you.
I need you.
I can walk up soon.
Rissa going left.
Bob Arista. Care Bob Arista.
Ash.
Nice, secure.
Rissa turning.
Come here.
Oh, Arista.
Come on, port, secure.
Tracer on me. Help me.
Come forward.
Hop player.
I can't. The Tracer's on me. No recall. Kill that guy. He's high ground.
Carry him. Come back and carry Hawk.
Yeah.
I'm almost there, Hawk. I'm unhappy.
Touch.
They use Pulse Arista. They have Bob. Care Bob.
Left side.
Are you happy?
You guys live. We're coming back with ults. Just live.
Yeah.
I'm on.
Player lives. I'm back. Can we go back with new?
I will.
Yeah.
Go right side.
Come here.
Yeah.
Wait, go point. They don't window. They go point.
Yeah, just go point.
Where's
Tristan a recall.
I'm going to
I'm rallying. Oh, okay.
Bubble.
Rissa. No gold, right?
Rissa.
They have rally. 3, 2, 1.
Break.
Secure.
Tracer.
Care
Tracer point.
Tracer, carry me.
Tracer.
Push. You need it.
Tracer already. Tracer 1.
Stop done.
Put you on.
Nice.
Yes.
Hey, keep doing it, Call, okay?
Help happy.
Oh, that's fine. I have carry ult, I'm staying.
Nobody swap.
We didn't really want to cut off the team comms there, folks, because
No, that
is
was sick.
like a very complex situation for the SIG comp to navigate, and great comms is absolutely essential to it. Great job by M80. A very long fight that took a lot of work to get Hawk into a good position.
Yeah, and you can hear Hawk coming a lot of the times, especially, when I think he saw actually RuPaul and potentially Vega up in the subway. It's like, let's go right, like not pushing around that left-hand side of the fire truck, right? Put pressure on the support, split the opposing team. So really awesome. We're able to listen into some of those comms, get a really good idea of what teams are trying to do, where they're trying to force positions.
Liar is trying to do everything he can not to play Brick. He's like, no, he gives me other callings.
Hey, I respect it.
He's also empowered to make that decision for himself, which is quite interesting. A very democratic calling structure here for M80. They're going to be rotating back to the cart now to try and get some push going. As have Hawk now switching back over to the Orisa. Tough business to try and bring someone down. Took a lot of work, and Happy was instrumental in that first fight, Matt. Some really big individual picks from the Cassidy to open the way for M80.
Yeah, some damage from Merit, but no real kills on the Ash, right? I know we had that Bob that just got on there contested, but no big dynamites really or any connections there towards the end. So that is a Vega whip shot there that takes Liar out. So that's a huge first pick.
Brick's good.
No speed.
Brick's good. Very powerful there. Someone able to bring Hawk down to get caught inside the subway. Got found without a ticket. You hate to see it. They're pretty vigilant about that in New York City. Not. M80 here.
Yeah, you can kind of skip it.
Yeah, I've seen it more of as like a formality than a hard and fast rule kind of thing.
You just can't jump over the thing. You're good.
Don't do that, home kids.
Not advice, but
for legal reasons, that is a joke.
Seen people do it.
Don't endorse it though. Yeah, mate, well, yeah, that's my story for now. Someone playing up close here. Force back a little bit. Again, creating the space for this Deadeye is really important, but Hawk's not able to, and it's just too easy to cross and Pulse Bomb Happy down.
That's a dynamite in there. I mean, you get the damage reduction, right? It's not that much damage, though. I mean, Pulse Bomb, dynamite, you try and wrap around that corner. Does not work out for M80. So, although they end up getting that first point, it's really awesome to listen to the comps. It did take a little bit long to kind of for that play to develop, right? So now you're about a minute to go here. For M80's attack, and they're going to make some changes. So Genji Sojourn here gives them a little bit more offensive burst for the high ground.
Yeah, that first fight taking as long as it did here means that M80 has a lot of ground to make up now. The Genji here, you talked about it on Samoa, about pressure, about setting up for Happy. Deflect a few shots through the air, Matrix doesn't hurt either. RuPaul has to take a bit of a different angle now as the Kitsune Rush is throwing down up on that high ground, but RuPaul's actually able to find Happy from that off angle. How does he get that? Ridiculous. Eventually brought down by Pelican. The damage already done. Pelican, though, inside the blender. As Hawk throws that Terror Surge down, and it's easy for dash resets to come. Someone who stands his ground, tries to fight Hawk, but Isuzu was available, and still it's going to be a trade of Orisas in the end. The Defiant, though, going to give some ground. They'll come back in. Yeah. With some ultimates, and of course, an unanswered Terror Surge. But I'm looking at Liar. I'm looking at that beat.
Well, they play that aggressive for that kill, right? Because look at this, Hawk is now going to have to come back on the Winston just to get a touch here. It's a respawn advantage, huge for the Defiant.
Not a good matchup into the Orisa. Definitely something to be avoided most of the time, and Pelican goes down.
Pelican.
Not able to get the beat timing.
Sick.
I mean, just too much burst damage going that way. Vega going to fall. Liar at least able to pick up a kill there, redeeming themselves in a big way. Someone finds the last Lucio standing. And with Merit taking Hawk out of the game, this should be a stop for the Toronto Defiant. There's only the Tracer, or rather the Genji, left to work with. There won't be a touch at all for them. Ultraviolet down to a pulse.
Yeah, it feels like RuPaul's come up with some really big kills, right? I know once they get to that second point on the Baptiste, able to do some really nice work. So that'll be M80 getting the first point, and then getting just about to finishing the second checkpoint. So not a terrible offense at all for M80, which a map win here, I think you really need to kind of if you were M80 and in between this, stress how important this map is. We talked about how Toronto, right? They're what, you said they only dropped one map, right? Win 30 plus here in stage 2. To find themselves down 2-0, that is a scenario that this team, as a unit, has not really been in, right? You can kind of force that, really start to get in their head a little bit.
Yeah, and also just showing you're not afraid of them. You also don't just sort of respect them that much is really important. M80 were not expecting Toronto to be playing the Orisa, right? They look like, oh, wow, Orisa, okay. That's important, and that's something that someone's able to manufacture because you never know what they're going to be playing. They have a deep hero pool, and they are always looking quite often to generate an advantage in a 1 versus 1. Sometimes playing into a counter pick and thinking that they can win. That's someone for you. Let's listen here to the story from the Defiant. How are they going to put together this attack with not that far through the map to push?
We came back and left side him.
I can warm up. I'm just gonna shoot main for a second, and then when they back, I can take left. How they call?
Sigma.
Big. Hans. Is that Hanzo? Hanzo. Hanzo Torp. Hanzo Torp.
Hanzo Torp, yeah.
Reporting in.
Hold it, huh? Freak.
Get left.
Left.
Yep. We're walking left now.
Hold it, attention me. They looking for freak. They looking for push.
Yeah.
Torp Hanzo left.
Oh, free back. I'm okay.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
시간.
Hanzo point.
Yeah, Hanzo
Hanzo
around.
low. Hanzo low.
시간. 시그널. I'm shooting break.
Can't speak.
Wait, they may be
돌면.
Terminate. I'm gonna push. Ready?
시간. 도시.
Hanzo.
윈도스.
I'm swinging.
Hanzo one.
내 윈도.
Torp up.
Walked out, nice.
야, 컴다. 대 윈도.
Yeah.
Okay, wait.
Give me stagger Sigma.
Okay.
That's it.
Okay.
대위도.
Window.
I saw break.
Yeah, I think you stop break.
Oh, yeah.
I saw break.
Yeah, go break.
레이시어 블락 플레이, okay?
This point, we've traced it.
Yeah, 블락. If they try don't touch, our widow.
I would have. Yeah.
Remarkably different communications here from the Toronto Defiant. Much clearer. And again, like, sort of less to talk about, but we saw the impact of that Widow here, Matt. No insta-kills, but an unreal amount of heal pressure on M80's defensive comp.
Yeah, a lot of damage that comes down from the Widow, and you're also just playing this Ilari Baptista backline. Well, you were at the moment as Vegas switches over to the Brig, but there's a lot of damage with that backline as well. Just look at this. It's an Matrix set up on the high ground there from RuPaul. Puts Hawk in a really weird spot, and they also get a kill and a happy already.
This Matrix here, a little speculative. Easy for the Toronto Defiant to fold away from this and could be completely unbothered by it. Or dive in. Use that, immortality field just to protect them against any of that ridiculous burst damage. And this is a dominant attacking side from the Toronto Defiant. Infra side up for Merit here is a very scary prospect for MA to walk into, especially Happy in the Widow mirror.
Yeah, it was like, how are they going to bounce back from losing a map? Looks like they've just been crushing it here on their offensive side. This will be Merit with walls. Going to have infra sight here. Going to be able to see exactly what's going on.
Importantly, Sugar Free can see where Happy is. That is the play. To put pressure down on that Widowmaker is going to be important. Big fight started up here by M80 though. Happy getting pressured down. Merit though, getting caught in the locus of that fight somehow. So M80 do a great job. They say, well, they kind of know where we are anyway, so we may as well make it obvious what we're trying to do. Great rush down fight here. Not something that the Sigma comp is always able to pivot into, Matt. But that was quite convincing.
Yeah, they're even with the walls on the other side, right? They're able to just kind of like push on up straight through. As Merit now is going to move away from the Widow. It's going to go and play the Sojourn here. So I think you're kind of like, okay, we're not going to just kind of get in this Widowmaker duel, right? Because sometimes like the game just starts to be a little bit of like a lull, right? It's like Widowmaker versus Widowmaker, and everybody's kind of waiting, right? You lose time there as Pelican finds Sugar Free on the flank. So now you might have to wait a little bit longer. Where this is not a done deal, right? Toronto with a great point A take, but this is like the hardest part of the map to do it.
By far. And Happy's happy to stick on the Widow. I mean, we've seen Happy try and play this pick against multiple teams on the attacking side, especially the last phase of the map, which is not historically very good for her. But he's a big fan. It's just how he likes to play. Shield there. Hastily has to be thrown up by someone, as Happy is on the hunt, as always.
The respawn advantage is crazy here for M80 on defense, right? As this is an Amp Matrix use here from RuPaul, and they end up using their rally here.
Flux.
Huge fight here.
That's a big flux, man. That is huge. Liar caught up inside that one. Ultraviolet went for an Amp Matrix by the looks of things, and Sugar Free is able to finish it off. Great little pulse stick to deal with Hawk. And eventually, the Defiant can just lean into it, this sheer weight of ultimates to try and win the fight out. Vega, okay, no longer on the brick here.
Yeah. You're gonna need to win another fight, though.
Happy switched off the Widow. Again, it's just too close now. These fights are happening with not enough room for the Widow to be able to get it. Whoa!
Wait, what?
You know, let that be proof that it happens to the best of us. The best of them, not me. I wouldn't. I mean, I might do that, but it's pretty unlikely. Okay, maybe I would do that, but that was
Well,
still...
Pelican touched. And then some, yeah, that's a loss there for M80. Which is unfortunate, but they were getting close to rally. I'm sure we'll be able to kind of take a look at that, but they were getting really close to rally. Would you get rally there where the clock's at? That's an opportunity to win that match.
Yeah, big time. Again, that fight probably needs to go pretty well for them in general. They are forced to filter out, but like you mentioned, the spawn advantage is quite significant for them, that force they're defining.
Well, Toronto just used everything too.
Yeah.
Toronto just used all their ults. I mean, that was a fight where you had a significant advantage.
Yeah, again, a moment there for M80, the defending team. Just a bit of communication breakdown, or maybe like we've seen in the past, like it's based on a misconception, something just not quite going the way it's supposed to, but this is the matchup that you can't afford to make any of those, even tiny mistakes against the Toronto Defiant. Anyway, looking back over the course of the map, I loved being on board with the M80 comms and their attacking side. Really intricate how they had to work this, Sigma into position. They had to deal with Bob, I think came out a couple times. Their first fight was really great to watch. We saw M80 get slowed down big time in the second phase, though.
Yeah, two very drastic styles of like calming when we do the listen-ins, right? M80, I feel like very, fast-paced, everybody kind of calming. It seems like on the other side for the Defiant, very calm, composed. Not a ton of useless information kind of going back and forth, right?
Yeah, we will get a chance to see how the sort of C9 played out in just a second here, but in general, right? A couple of the key things we talked about here was like what the support comps are going to look like. A lot of eyes on those here. The tank matchup, someone obviously was always going to be confident, but Hawk is in his wheelhouse. I think on that Sigma, that's really where he's able to shine. I think this fight here with Merritt being able to cause so many problems in the backline with the Soj and then the Flux following after, that's what put M80 on the back foot.
Yeah, and then the next fight is the one where so you get a touch there from Pelican on the side, right?
Okay, we're moving up.
Let's see. Do we see a stun come through? Does it hit the brig? Yeah, it looks like the stun actually hit the brig coming around the corner, right? Yeah, that's a liar there. That gets hit with the stun. So what's funny is he hits the accretion and then even starts to back up because he probably thinks they're going to contest, and he actually pushes the cart forward and wins it. So that is unfortunate there for M80 as potentially an opportunity if you had a rally there to get a hold or at least make it really interesting, take it down to the wire.
Tank head to head between someone and Hawk, and someone look able to stay alive a heck of a lot more of the times here. And again, what we don't sort of show is the eliminations or final blows here, but ultimately someone comes up with much more of a flattering stat line if you want to use kill death as anything to go by, and that's going to happen. But here's a reality: Sigma's probably Hawk's best tank. This is probably his best look. And going up against someone, I'll just say it like that, you want to put yourself in the strongest position. I talked about that. Position Hawk to have favorable tank matchups. But even then, even like mirroring, on your potentially best hero, you're still going to struggle against a world-class talent like someone. M80's advantages have to originate from elsewhere.
Yeah, well, I mean, look, I think they can get an advantage in terms of the tank, right? I think that just potentially a tough map, right? I don't think it's, oh, well, you're never going to win the tank battle, especially, in the kind of Sigma head-to-head. I definitely think you can for M80, where looks like here at the start on Colosseo, you have some options, right? With some longer range sight lines. So it looks like both teams going to hover the Sojourner. I think that's to be expected. But Hawk actually hovering the Sigma, where the Sigma can put a ton of chip damage down as you're coming in, right? We talk about the Orisa trying to close the gap, get past the shield. This sight line is so long, it's actually pretty difficult to do so.
We actually have seen M80 come out with Sigma on this map before. They, I believe, even had a Widow for Happy in the past, and I sort of dubbed that the do we respect you comp? You know what I mean? Eventually they were forced off of it in one of their previous matches and had to play something a little bit more standard, but they will stay with the Sigma here. So, again, we're dealing with the dichotomy. Can someone rush down the Sigma, get rid of that shield, or get past it here to put pressure on that tank? Or can Hawk, really work with the rest of M80 here and get great damage at long range to apply pressure that way?
I mean, this is also an opportunity where, okay, let's let both Sojourners just try and find, some damage in a shot. The downside of the Sigma is you see him just build up the charge on that shield, where Hawk's being a little bit more cautious with it.
Someone forced back there. That's the issue, I guess, is that when you've used your defensive cooldowns, you don't really have a shield to stand behind as Orisa. Might mean EMEA get to make some incremental progress here, but so far it's been dogged contest around the bot. Not even out of the sort of neutral zone here, so neither team making any progress so far.
I think you're going to see just kind of this until like one of the Sojourns gets a pick, right? Whether it's like on a tracer or support in the back line. Maybe now you can go, right? That's the immortality field out from the M80, and then now they use the continuing rush and they push on through.
Such a good job at identifying an opening to start a fight here, but Mera gets picked off. I think Hawk goes after the Sojourn. It might have been to slide in for this fight, but you've lost your Sigma here. Despite there being no Sojourn on the other side, the Orisa still has a legitimate damage threat in her own right. This means that the Defiant get to start now with this early, slim lead.
Yeah, once they actually see that immortality field go down, and then they also have their Kitsune rush, they just combo and they just push on right through. So really nice read there from the Defiant. They get a little bit of a lead, but not much, as we're kind of back to this mid-map tussle.
Yeah, I mean, the 16.9 meters just disappears in a flash here if M80 start to win a fight, so it's nothing really to write home about, but neither of these teams are willing to take big risks. The biggest risk that M80 took, I guess, was throwing an immortality field down pre-combat. That ended up hurting them. Pulse there, stuck on the wall. No connect. Sugar Free able to draw Hawk out of position, but someone's not really set up to capitalize on it.
No, and you get a few meters here as you're getting close to potentially taking the lead. See someone step up, spear onto Hawk, knock him back. Is both teams very cautious.
Yeah, someone had to use Fortify there to not be stunned up by the accretion, though. Wants to maybe hold on to the...
hides behind the barrier.
Yeah, okay. Terra Surge used for the extra Fortify. That's very clever.
Well, that's with the flux coming down, right? So you didn't actually get gripped up. Yep. That's it.
And that's what, it's not just a damage reduction effect during Terra Surge, it's literally Fortify that gets applied to you again. Someone realizing he has two instances of that to use there, shutting the Flux down and be more than happy to trade ults there. Flux is way stronger than Terra Surge in almost every case. Hawk, though, finds Merit again. Somehow the Sojourn's getting picked off by the Sigma here at the start of these fights. And Happy might look to try and abuse the Sojourn disparity here. Someone's got nowhere to go. Cornered on that right side.
Yeah, like you mentioned, it's pretty huge that they're getting the Sojourn at the beginning. That's 2 fights in a row where Hawk is able to find Merit, and to be able to do that opens things up for M80 in a big way, as now M80, they can push up, they can try and take high ground, right? You have this ultraviolet Ant Matrix, which should be really aggressive here. Really awesome as they try and make their way out of the spawn. So a few different options for M80 how they want to play it. Yeah, and here's this Ant Matrix I was talking about, right? Use it when they're trying to come out of the spawn, put some extra damage down, maybe it results in a kill. But worst case scenario, it just results in free progress.
Yeah, because Toronto can't really contest from that building. They just go up there to circumvent the air matrix. Big damage though on Hawk and Ultraviolet respectively. The latter, who I think ate an accretion or something similar, or rather a spear from someone, would be it. Beautiful stuff. We do spend a little bit here at Toronto, but you're able to fold away from that air matrix of Ultraviolet and still find an advantage. They might look to equalize now, as someone has pushed up quite far.
Yes, Hawk will now switch over to the Orisa. So now the only difference between these two teams is the BAP versus the Kiriko. So valuing the rush and the cleanse a little bit more, and the mobility here for the Defiant, where M80, that immortality field plus the Ant Matrix combo is so good, is not exactly getting the lead here for the Defiant. They back up. They're fine playing mid-map. Nice eat.
Someone negating the pulse bomb there. That's definitely a worthwhile use of the cooldown. Someone having to be really reactive with a lot of these defensive cooldowns, just to not get flux or to stop pulse bomb coming in, shutting down ultimates one after another here. Orisa, such a menace. RuPaul there needs to fold back just a little bit. And again, someone gives up the ground. I like that Hawk here sees that someone's disengaging and wants to step up and continue to put these shots in. This means that RuPaul and Vega have to work that much harder to keep their Orisa in the fight. Such a close map.
I mean, we're like halfway through as well, right? I mean, 2 meters basically separating these two teams. Nobody really wants to push up through this mid-map, and look at this. I mean, just about, oh, that's a huge shot yet again. They've been able to find Merit a few times early, whether it be Hawk or Happy. So I was going to say, you were gearing up for a crazy fight, right? Everybody on both sides with some ultimates halfway through the game, about 2 meters separating the teams. It's felt like we were at the cusp of maybe a map-defining fight, but I know that kill is going to give even more progress to M80.
Merit's kind of famous on this map as well for having some unbelievable game-breaking moments. So far, though, he's been getting gaps. Oh, okay. Slide used in midair there by Happy Clever. I think he realized where he touched down would be pretty lethal for him. And here come M80. Another consecutive fight win there. Nice terror search. And someone doesn't get to use theirs at all. Sent
It's knocked
packing.
off the side.
How? I mean, they must have got booped before the terror surge started because you shouldn't be able to be shifted during that ult.
Yeah, and M80, you can tell they're starting to feel themselves now, right? As Happy gets up to the high ground here, has the overclock to work with, and Pelican with a pulse bomb. You can really almost put the game away here, right, with a good
Probably
push.
we're saying that here between these two teams, and M80, the one we're talking about favorably. But they are looking fantastic here on Colosseo. See the bot moving up behind all of this aggression. M80 more than happy to just take a stab, take a lunge, and get an extra 20 meters, it seems, on that bot. Here come Toronto now. Merit needs to come alive. This is the time to stand up and be counted. Okay, disrupt the shot makes it hard for Merit to advance, but here Laia just has nowhere to go. Blown out into the coast, and only disparate bits of him will be raining to the ground on the other side. Toronto Defiant get in their faces. Merit's overclock surges forward. And finally, Toronto can find some room to breathe, but they've given up so much of the map.
I mean, 60 meters, right? You got less than 3 minutes on the clock. You have no ultimates to work with. With the way things have been going, stalling at the middle of the map, I mean, you're looking pretty nice if you're M80 right now. You got to be talking about, like, okay, how do we slow down this pace here mid-map, get another fight, you know, just drag this out. And then if you win it, I mean, you're in a fantastic spot.
Toronto need 2, maybe 3 good fights from here on out. First one will get them close to the checkpoint, but not quite there given the spawn advantage for the defenders. Keep an eye on those Orisa health bars. Pelican hoping to play off of that and maybe get a good stick that to end someone entirely. Here's Merit though, finally!
They jump high ground.
Fair enough. I like that. Getting up into the defender's location, making use of that.
The bot's
Yeah,
going the other
he's
way.
getting out of there. That's fine. Can be brought back here, but Toronto lose that opportunity to potentially get the checkpoint off this fight. Very cheeky steal from M80.
Yeah, you had Hawk down there and Pelican who kind of decided to just run the bot the other direction as you're not even going to really able to make that much progress here. If you're Toronto, yeah. So just that bot just making a beeline the other way, it's pretty bad as what you get high ground there. It was a really nice amp matrix there for RuPaul setting up Merit. You got 2 meters out of that.
That was really cute from Toronto. From M80, rather nicely played. Pulse, okay, I thought that had stuck, but Ultraviolet is able to get away with the Exo boots. Immortality Field also used just in case. So Sugarfree probably pretty happy with that either way. Toronto, do they have the chance to, again, surge up onto that high ground once more? Because they're running out of time to make a play, to put them at least on even footing here with M80, who can kind of just chill here. There's no reason for M80 to get overly aggressive, to take undue risks. They have like a 55-meter lead.
Well, and they can just kind of like poke here, right? Like, if they just poke, do damage, even if you lose, you still have another probably 2 fights, right? And force Toronto to kind of get aggressive, make a play as the bot just still contested here. You can contest from up on top there, just looking down, and then you also have Pelican there just jumping around.
Good pressure on Hawk, though. Here's Merit trying to... Oh, my goodness! That was a javelin from the low ground, if I'm not mistaken. That interrupted Merit, and Happy could capitalize. The classic 1-2 punch between Orisa and Sojourn rears its head there. And M80 are in deep... Oh, rather, Toronto are in deep trouble. Sorry, M80 are in a great position. Merit's so quiet, has like 1 big kill. 1 kill that's really notable. 1 kill that actually lets the Defiant take some space. But every other time, it's been about Happy. Someone who got highlighted on the desk is having to step up in this matchup. You've got nowhere to go with Toronto. You just need to win 3 or 4 fights in a row. It's all but impossible.
Happy and Hawk have been able to find Merit pretty early on in a lot of these fights. We're going to head into OT, and what's terrible for Toronto is they're running into everything from M80.
It's all bad. None of it's good. Ultraviolet with the Amp Matrix here is going to be able to force Toronto off the sideline. Someone exploitable there as they've gone right where the rest of the Defiant have gone left. Sugarfree joins up, though. They want to push back as Hawk is low. Immortality Field will preserve that life, but for how much longer? M80 get him out of there. Happy in position for an overclock and sends it straight away. Sugar Free's Pulse takes Hawk low, but he's going to use a Terror Surge for the extra durability. But someone has one too. RuPaul and Vega need to be kept alive, but Happy finds the ladder. The Lucio's out of the picture now, and Happy wants to take even more space. Someone basking under the immortality field, but needs some more healing from RuPaul. Hanging on, just hanging on. Merit's able to trade the kill out, and Lyra is now missing, but Happy's not going anywhere. Unfortunately for him, someone is too durable, too bulky to bring down just yet. Another defensive cooldown going to be used by someone who just seems utterly unkillable, and RuPaul's going to keep the healing coming in. Someone's still in the fight. Here come the Defiant. The reinforcements are arriving. Sugar Free back on the scene as Hawk switch to the Winston.
Bro.
They're giving up this ground.
And that's everything. That's everything from M80 there. Somehow RuPaul is able to keep someone up through that fight. I mean, tremendous stuff there from Toronto Defiant as the bot will be contested now. It'll be an Amp Matrix here from Ultraviolet on the side. Now they deal with someone.
Flanking someone with that. There's just nothing he could do. A great fight from the Toronto Defiant, showing us a lot of their quality there, but they are too far behind to make a difference against M80, who'll snap up Colosseo and continue to stamp their dominance over this series. Toronto now coming into this game with only one map lost. They've lost 2 already in the space of this series. M80 are the real deal.
I tell you what, I mean, you have a C9 from an opportunity there. M80's in a position to potentially have 3-0'd the Defiant. So the Defiant is
true.
Pretty fortunate in that scenario that they get that map number 2, give themselves a chance to fight back. But man, really nice play there on Colosseo from M80. Thought Happy and Hawk played a tremendous match.
We spent some time talking about the Sigma mirror in the previous map and how it seemed like Hawk had some struggles there, but the Orisa gameplay here for M80 is top-notch. This is a map where, frankly, Merit goes off the boil. Is just not able to generate the same momentum that Happy can on that Sojourn pick. Really impressed with the performances there in general, and Hawks seem to find that burst of confidence that M80 needed to put themselves now onto a match point. This is the upper final. Incredible stuff.
Yeah.
M80 might find themselves in the grand final with that advantage.
But I think, though, that M80 should, like this roster, should expect to be in grand finals with an advantage. I also think this is actually a pretty good series for the Defiant, to be honest with you. Like, you wouldn't want your first challenge to be, you know, at a LAN event, right? And, you know, you've never dealt with any adversity, like, prior to that, right? You know, between this and DreamHack, you got a little bit of time, right? While you're going to scrim. To go against no adversity the entire year, right? You know, you're going to face it at a moment, whether it be from a team from, you know, EMEA, APAC, right? You're going to. You don't want it to be in a, you know, massive moment, you know, on a LAN stage, right? Where obviously this is a huge moment for them, but to have this kind of like, okay, let's see how we do, you know, under this type of pressure. It's better to have it now and get it out of the way than deal with it later.
It's actually such an often overlooked aspect of competition in esports. It kind of gives Atlanta Reign international tournaments vibes last year, right? Where everyone expected them to be so good, and then at the first sign of resistance, they, you know, all of a sudden get exposed as maybe not being as robust, as well-rounded as we thought they were. This Toronto Defiant team probably don't mind taking an L here where the stakes aren't nearly as high, because with how far they've managed to make it through this, you know, this stage 2, I mean, they're guaranteed to be in Dallas anyway. So take your lickings when you need them. Take your lessons when they don't completely ruin your chances of competing internationally.
And for M80, like, you really believe you can contend with a team like the Toronto Defiant and all the other best teams in the world. Is, I mean, Happy just absolutely, you know, dunked on Merit on that one. Where M80, it's also a positive in, like, hey, it's one thing to kind of constantly say, like, oh, we believe we can kind of, you know, handle the Defiant and some of these other teams, and then, you know, get into the series and not win, right? Like, now you win, you gain that confidence to, you know, actually, like, okay, we can beat teams like this. We have a shot, you know, globally, right? I think it's honestly, it's like a win-win series for both teams in a weird way.
But I know, but yet this one can still go all the way. It's going to require Toronto to come out of the gate swinging on Suravasa and push it all the way to a decider. We're going to jump into that map in just a moment. We're going to give the players a break, and we'll be back with more M80 versus Toronto Defiant as M80 lead 2-1.
Now we've touch of your hand can set me on fire. Lately, the message is clear. It's one of desire. When we're together, everything feels so right. My mind and body give in to you. I've got the devil in my soul tonight. There's nothing that I won't do. Nothing gonna stop me now. Nothing's gonna hold me back. Nothing gonna keep me down. Till my love train's running down your track. I'm coming for you.
Save Soch. Wait, don't let them push it.
Come on.
One spin.
All under. First one. Secure. I have beaten 10. So. Nice. Push. So this time. So.
Here's your point.
Nice. Let's fucking go, baby.
Nice. Good job.
Good shit.
Ultraviolet looking awful clean there with that Amp Matrix, couple of kills off of that. And they found the perfect opportunity at M80 to end the map right there and then. It was desperation, though, to be fair, for the Toronto Defiant, who'd spend most of that map playing from behind. The fight before that was a banger. We had like 10 ultimates plus in that engagement, and somehow Toronto managed to hold on. Those are the fights that I really love seeing in games of this level. And Lyra, in an interview recently, sort of said that we're at the point now where the only team we fear is the Defiant. But I think that fear now might have started to dissipate as they realize they can actually believe themselves in this matchup.
Yeah, I mean, what they, you take a map loss, but otherwise, right? You're swinging back and you're winning, maps against the Defiant. There's no reason that I think M80 should fear them or really anybody. Like that we've seen in the past. If you have Pelican on your team, right, you have a pretty decent chance in a lot of these games, right? Regardless of who's on the other side of things. Especially with the hit scan like Happy, who can come alive and take it to somebody like Merit, who's tremendous. You're gonna have a chance regardless who's on the other side for M8.
Big time. This has been a fantastic match so far, and all I can ask for now is that maybe get pushed to a 5th and decider here. Suravasa is just around the corner, and there's an opportunity here for Toronto to bounce back. But we just saw them play the Orisa mirror for much of Colosseo, and they struggled. Even with that Orisa up against the Sigma, they were having some difficulty putting real pressure on Hawk.
Yeah, I think you're going to see this very similar comps yet again here. I think you're going to see like Orisa with the Sojourn in the mix. I think probably the biggest thing is like, do we see like Pelican or Sugar Free pick up the Genji, right? I know Genji on the first point to try and control some of the high ground. And then Lucio's obviously a must here on Flashpoint.
Suravasa, our next map to come up here for the Toronto Defiant. It's going to be a victory, but this is a team, we kind of talked about this, during the break or beforehand. It's a bit of an edge case where Toronto have already, basically solidified their spot in Dallas. They will be there. They're the first team to qualify for that event. So to sort of realize some of their limitations here and now, not such a bad thing. It gives them a ton of tape and a ton to work on. And in fact, they're almost guaranteed to get 2 matchups against M80 to sort of see if they can improve overnight. Not an easy thing to do, but we have a bit of a break before Dallas actually comes up. There's a ton of time to work on that, and there's no guarantee that what we've seen compositionally and meta-wise will even be relevant then. So for Toronto, yes, they want to win. It is important, but a loss here isn't going to ruin their year. It's not even going to ruin their week.
I mean, a loss, though, does, like, a loss in this tournament does kind of sting in the sense that, like, okay, now all of the chatter going into Dallas is not going to be about, like, how good Toronto, is and can they, like, kind of win the whole thing. It's going to be like, oh, like, where do they place, right? The first match they play, there's going to be a ton of extra pressure on, right? So, like, ideally they do want to kind of come out on top. So interesting enough, Toronto will play the Sigma here at the start. So I thought we would actually see just kind of Orisa's on both sides, but it'll actually be the Defiant bringing out the Sigma.
How long can someone hang around here once this shield goes down? And again, he's a tank, so has those defensive cooldowns, but when they start getting eaten through, it seems like things might get a little bit scary. I mean, one of the best things you can do is hit that accretion on the enemy Orisa when she doesn't have a fortify up. That's allowed someone actually to push up, force Hawk away here as M80 fold back.
Yeah, what's also allowed it was Happy Happy took like a huge chunk of damage where he almost actually falls. So they have to back out, try and heal him up. Now they can put some pressure onto someone. There's the immortality field gone, but they can actually get the kill on the Hawk.
Yep. Look, I think trying to get that kill on someone, maybe sort of overexposed it maybe a little bit there, but it ends up really just being a trade of tanks. But the first cap finally comes down. It was Happy, I think, just putting a toe on the point as the Defiant were playing much further back.
Yes, Pelican can stand here on the point, kind of keep this contested, but he's wrapping around as it looks like it's Merritt who kind of jumps up on that pillar. Oh, it takes some damage here as Ultraviolet finishes him off. As I wonder where the other extra damage came from.
He's been on one, man. The end of that last round and that shot there.
They had a really good series.
Very, very clean. Laya, though, wasn't able to quite get away. EMEA not too bottled again because they've made that trade there. They do want to get Laya back in position to make use of that beat here. This next fight's going to be pretty hot and heavy. Air matrices for both sides. Pelican tickling here at someone. But look how low that Sigma is. Remember, Sigma does not have that armor, does not have that inherent damage reduction. It's just shield that regens, but under this level of pressure, Sigma can't really benefit from it. Go back away. Have that air matrix now coming up. Rupal, they're going to walk ahead of it. As the sound barrier means that Defiant want to play a little bit more proactively. And EMEA come back in with a later beat. They hold the point right now, and the Toronto Defiant getting beaten out in those support ultimate timings, and then Happy can punish someone. Oh my goodness, Rupal flattened.
Well, it just feels like they have to put so much resources into someone to keep him up on the Sigma, right? You have to use the immortality field, the AM matrix, the sound barrier, everything, even outside of the Sigma cooldowns to keep that Sigma alive, as that's going to be a switch here from someone onto the Orisa. The point will go back to M80. Looks like it'll be M80 taking our first flashpoint.
You're looking better, Matt. I think there's no other way of putting it. That Colosseo map and this one here really starts to secure that idea for me. Huge opener. This is for someone now to get off the Sigma. That is not going to work, but at least at this point in the series, someone is willing to switch out of those disadvantageous tank matchups as opposed to, our first map where he sort of stuck to his guns no matter what.
What's your opinion on the Baptiste versus the Kariko here?
Sorry, but I know where you're going with that. It's interesting, I think, to use it on the Sojourn, right? Because it can be hard to guarantee coverage with that immortality field. Your Sojourn's more self-sufficient, so maybe you can throw that immortality on your Orisa and give her the edge when her defensive cooldowns aren't available. But we've normally seen it paired up with a Cassidy. But you can really unleash, at the individuals level with Baptiste, fighting through their own amp matrix. And so what Ultraviolet did at the end of Colosseo, for example. So I kind of like that as an opportunity here for Ultraviolet just to show what he's made of.
Yeah, I mean, even right there, right? The amp matrix just kind of creates so much space. Allows them to take the point here. They'll get a little bit of an early lead, as it doesn't look like Toronto wants to drop down to the point just yet, as the Kitsune Rush will be really difficult to deal with. It's a Terror Surge here, gets a few players low, but I think just having that immortality field, especially if you're going to play around that Sigma, you can throw it in, be a little bit more aggressive with it. I think it pays off in a big way.
The Terror Surge there from Hawk was just to force Toronto to the disadvantageous low ground there. They had no choice but to acquiesce, and M80 followed up very, very well on that inherent positional advantage they had following that, that ultimate used by Hawk. Very worthwhile use of Terror Surge, which often isn't going to guarantee you kills unless all the enemy's defensive and mobility cooldowns are unavailable.
We'll now see if Toronto can get value out of this Kitsune Rush, right? It's going to be 90% and counting, right? Last fight territory where M80 could go up 2-0 in terms of flashpoints. One flashpoint away from winning the series right away. It feels like the map just started.
It's been awful quick. That is crazy to think of. Rupal here sees Hawk down below, sends a kunai with love just to try and put some pressure here on the healing of M80. The Toronto trying to transition to the low ground to really help out someone properly. It has to be a sound barrier to do that remotely, but Laya has one to respond with. Here's a Kitsune Rush, the big point of difference between these support compositions, and someone is low. Somebody look at someone, please! Solo, eventually going to be picked off. Happy gives himself up in a trade, but it's a very favourable one for M80 at the end of the day, with Vega, a piece taken off the board. Mirror with some high-flying acrobatics is actually able to take Pelican down, but another flashpoint is secured by M80, and they're looking to end the series right here.
Yeah, someone got hit with just about everything there. Gets hit with a pulse bomb, tries to use the Terror Surge to kind of keep himself alive, and this is going to force a change here from the Defiant. So they're actually going to play the Baptiste as well. That extra immortality field. Obviously the great survivability, be able to kind of keep the tank up, and they'll actually have Sugar Free play the Genji here. So putting a little bit more pressure onto the backline. I do feel like you're going to miss some of the pressure, the constant pressure the Tracer provides.
Yeah, you're right. Sugar Free. Again, again, has to commit to a greater degree as the Tracer, and then we can't be doing it perpetually is the issue. Happy, good damage here. That's all I can say for that for the time being, but it's a tough job for Sugar Free to chase down this Sojourn, and Happy's able to win it out. The Halo got removed. Maybe Vegas sent him over the edge. It's unclear. A second kill for the Toronto Defiant. Lucio keeping them in this game. What a showing.
Yes, they're going to be able to take the point here. So some signs of life here for the Defiant as they switch over and bring in the BAP with the Genji here. So I think the Genji's probably just to put a little bit more pressure onto Happy, like close the gap a little bit more, right? No, have the deflect, right? A little bit of extra defensive capability. But let's see how this next fight goes on, right? M80, they'll have an Amp Matrix of their own. Pulse Bomb for Pelican, as he's been so good with it.
Terra Surge is both available in this next fight. Also Amp Matrix for both Baptistes at the ready. Sugar Free going to be a bit away from a blade yet. That'll probably coincide with Leia's beat, so may not be that significant. Happy knocked out of the Immortality field, or wasn't really in there to start with. I like this. A wedge driven between both sides of M80 as someone steps up and throws the Terra Surge into the fray. Hawk no choice but to hold on to his for now. Ultraviolet's Air Matrix. Unclear to see if they really got a ton of value from that, but Hawk is able to stay safe in that back corner. Here, though, this is all about cleaning up the Orisa. Merit knows it's an easy kill if he comes forward with that overclock, and this will secure the flashpoint for Toronto.
Yes, it's Ultraviolet ends up using his Amp Matrix from the side, tries to keep Hawk alive, and then Pelican there as well, maybe trying to make a play out of it. Does not end up working out. So some switches from the Defiant result in a flashpoint take. Is it just too little too late, right? You have to kind of run the table here in terms of the flashpoints coming up. Pelican now will actually play the Echo, so interesting. They'll play Echo and they'll actually drop the map and play with the Kiriko. So a little bit of a different setup here from M80, a little bit more aggressive.
You can't realistically play the Baptiste with the Echo. She can't be fully self-sufficient in many of these cases, but it's going to be very hard for Sugar Free to threaten Pelican. And presumably Leia, who likes to hold big for these big ultimates, is saving it for that, but doesn't have a chance or doesn't have the inclination to use it.
He might have went for it and got a little bit fortunate there that it didn't go off, right? Because that could have been a bit of an Ajax.
Yeah, that would have been devastating, but the result is kind of the same in that fight. At the very least, Leia can bring it in and answer an overclock, or even M80 can throw caution to the wind, beat aggressively, or just have one to match Vegas. So not the worst case scenario there for M80, who just need one more flashpoint. They've got a bit of a buffer to work with here, but they need to wake up and they need to figure out how they're going to work around the comp changes from Toronto, which have given them a distinct lead on that previous flashpoint fight. It was basically 100-0.
Yeah, and now double support ult here for the Defiant with someone's Terror Surge, so not exactly a really easy fight to go into here if you're M80, where you can kind of start to feel the momentum potentially start to swing.
Someone and Hawk just exchanging pleasantries here. Hawk overheating and have to use some defensive cooldowns. Of course, you jump on the other side of that Amp Matrix, make it very hard to make use of. Pelican is so healthy. That sound barrier is huge. Leia managed to use theirs, though, and that's been huge, allowing Pelican to put an extra Orisa on the field and get value out of the Terror Surge. The Echo difference is really being felt in that fight.
I wonder if Sugar Free will go Tracer here, because Tracer historically is like always really good here against the Echo, and yeah, there's the swap. So I like this decision here from the Defiant, adjusting on the fly. Both of these teams just kind of like counter-picking each other, it seems like, from flashpoint to flashpoint. Feels like just one more fight here for the Defiant would actually give them an opportunity to go to one more final flashpoint.
Honestly, and M80, honestly, like, if this is a long fight, they just need to win this one as well. Toronto, I know they've got a buffer here in terms of flashpoint capture percentage, so they just give the point up. They don't want to face down this overclock. They don't have to. Conversely, M80 will have no choice but to deal with merits and maybe try and find a way around it. That's beautiful, though. Just a pick out of nowhere. Happy manufactures a player advantage for M80, and they're going aggressive off the back of it here. They're at 77% and counting. This might be it.
Yeah, no speed. It's very difficult to back out. M80 does not chase, since Liar takes a shot there. Gets quite low. But this is M80's chance to take it. Terror Surge available. Probably going to end up getting a rush here. Big ultimate advantage for the Defiant.
Here it is. Merit holding on to that overclock for just such a situation. Was looking for Hawk there, but M80 disengaged happily. They're also able to play out of range of Merit, out of line of sight. Some sticky bomb connection there, but here's the Kitsune rush, and Hawk is trying to catch Merit inside. That's somehow Merit isolated. Hawk's able to find an opportunity to get rid of the biggest damage dealer on the side of the Toronto Defiant. Sugar Free has to recall desperately there, and somehow is able to get away with it, leaving Hawk all alone on the point. Toronto get another flashpoint. We're going all the way to 5 here in Suruvasa.
Man, Hawk pushes up, takes out Merit, almost actually takes out Sugar Free as well, spears him into the wall. He basically lives with just a sliver before you can get the recall off. But while that's happening, everybody else on Toronto is just dealing with the backline of M80, and everybody falls as now we go to one final flashpoint to decide the map, potentially the series here if M80 can take it out.
Duplicate available for Pelican. Last time it was a second Orisa that built up a Terror Surge incredibly quickly. And it allowed him to find a pick on Sugar Free, who at the time was on Genji. Pulse and recall, nothing for Sugar Free there. Can't blame him for looking for a quick opener though. Here's the Doom, get another Orisa. Now you have 2 sets of these defensive cooldowns to rotate, allow Hawk to go forward, Pelican to create a lot of space, and Toronto say, I mean, we cannot, this is overwhelming, we cannot fight this.
No, you're not going to push into like a double Orisa setup here at the moment, right? As they'll just wait for the duplicate to run out. Scary part is, right, you know, Happy starts landing some of these railgun shots, right? You can find yourself in final fight territory rather quickly. As look at this, Toronto goes wide. They're going to wrap all the way around.
You're trying to get out of like that position that Happy was playing from, that little high ground perch. They still have to deal with it, no matter how they approach the point though. Hawk took a ton of damage.
Yeah, loses all his armor.
That's regenerating, but Hawk can't stay healthy enough to probably contest this. So M80 just give up the point on virtue of the damage on Hawk.
And I wonder if they could have, like, you know, used an ultimate there to try and, like, push in, keep control of the point. As now they just push back up. It looks like Toronto will give up the point.
So it's interesting how willing both teams are to give up that space. Oh, okay, that was nice. I think that caught onto Rupal there. Someone, maybe Sugar Free actually having a recall after getting hit by the spear. Merit gets hit by another one, but Toronto was so healthy here. They walk up, use a sound barrier in order to take this fight. And M80 probably happy with this. Probably happy to now exercise, you know, the advantage they have in terms of these beats that Liar's holding onto his still.
Yeah, and I like the swap here for Pelican, just ditching the Echo at this point in the game, right? You just need that pressure with the Tracer, no support ult on the other side, right? I think this is going to come down to the overclock. If Happy can, you know, nail this overclock, right? They have a sound barrier to deal with Merits. If you can nail a few shots with your overclock for Happy, you can put this series away.
It's got to be a good beat, though. Hawk again. Look at how low he's been poked, just trying to walk up. He finally uses the javelin spin. Now someone's starting to feel that pressure, but Hawk only has a short window here. He's got to go. Sound barrier now keeps Hawk alive, and he gets another fortify with that Terror Surge. Rupal Immortality Field used, though, when someone is low. It's going to have to be a javelin spin for him. The pulse from Sugar Free. That's big, but they've lost the Orisa. Toronto now playing with only 4 and no durability in their front line. A dangerous prospect, but M80 have lost the lion's share of the healing and the Suzu. It's a 4v4, but Sugar Free gets caught out, runs straight into Hawk, and then he's eliminated. Then M80 finally have a chance here to dethrone the Kings of the OWCS. Then they do so in style. M80 realize their potential now, advancing to our upper finals.
Oh, it's a huge win there, Mitch, which one actually could have potentially even been a 3-0 as M80 came in today prepared for the beasts that are the Toronto Defiant. As Toronto, they'll suffer their first loss through these first 2 stages here. Now, rarely do they lose any maps, let alone 3 in a series, but M80, such a strong team on paper, finally showed it in the server
We spent
today.
so long, I think yesterday, the last couple of days, asking, where's the tier break here? Is it Toronto, then everyone else, or Toronto M80, and then everyone else? And now we have the answer. M80 has taken a huge leap forward now in our estimation, of course, and in circuit points and in results. This team, when they get over to Dallas, and I say when now because I'm basically, convinced that'll be happening, they are definitely going to be making waves. Let's bring the desk in and break this game down because many of us are surprised to see the Defiant getting clapped back so hard. M80, what a result for this squad.
Many surprised. One certainly isn't, because Reinforce did predict the upset. Upset. That's right, but what a victory. And this was a close one. I mean, it came down to the very last fight right there on Suruvasa. What a fantastic series. Toronto Defiant having the right idea there, knowing that M80, they're going to be the team to watch out for. And they are now comfortably waiting in that grand final. And I feel like they're going to see each other again right there.
Yeah, they are the two favorites to do so. It was a bit of a preamble. You know, we're eagerly looking forward to the grand final now.
Yeah.
I mean, you said it like this match doesn't matter as much. Obviously, you know, it really matters in the grand final. But this
sets
match,
the tone.
This sets the tone, and it really proved the point that EMEA are truly capable of competing and, you know, are arguably better than Toronto Defiant. You know, they got the win. But just a couple of weeks ago, people were looking at this EMEA roster just like, well, you know, they went to map 5 against Pip and, you know, but they didn't have their 2 damage players in the United States. They didn't play on low ping, and, you know, that was obviously a struggle for them. This is their potential fulfilled, and I want to give massive props to Pelican. He had such amazing hero swaps throughout this series. We listened to the voice comms. He told his main support Lyre, hey, we need a brig. Swaps over to the Genji here on Midtown. Even it didn't work out, but to deal with the Baptiste, the Echo as well on Suravasa. Just such a smart player. Shot calls for this team as well, but incredible Tracer play as well to really set up his team for rest of success. And honestly, Jake, I mean, you said it a couple of times when we were watching the game. It felt like Toronto Defiant. They were cooking quite a bit throughout this series.
Yeah, a lot of Sigma comps coming out, you know, and historically that's been a strong point for Toronto, being able to counterpick and find the win. But today I felt EMEA matched them on that front. I think you're right to highlight Pelican. His swaps consistently gave his team advantage. And I mean, that's the difference having strong DPS players and international superstar players like Pelican, one of the best in the world on his role, arguably the best in the world. I think with the flexibility he brings to the team, he's really that player for Overwatch 2, ready to swap to whatever we need. Hitscan, though, I think we'd be remiss if we didn't talk about Happy. Merit, this was an uncharacteristically quiet game for Merit. I feel like we saw Happy in the kill feed way more often, finding those openings just a little bit more, and a small edge in that department really puts wind in your sails for a team like M80, and they capitalized. Incredible performance from everybody. Hawk as well, one of the few tanks that can actually take someone into all these deep tank matchups with many swaps. You know, very, very complex matchup here, but Hawk navigated it, looked like effortlessly.
Absolutely. And I mean, heading into this, you did pose a question, Jake. Can M80 deal with the pressure that will be put mostly on Lyre and UV? And they found an answer. They just put so much more pressure on the opponent that they never had to really care for that. Hawk, of course, being an integral part of making it happen.
Yeah, I think for Hawk as well. I mean, you saw throughout the series, you start out the series, you play Diva, you come out with the Cassidy and Torb, and it actually works out for you this series. But then also you saw Toronto Defiant, they swapped over to this Symmetra and Sigma composition. Hawk, again, crucial in engaging and utilizing his abilities correctly to give you an advantage in that Orisa series. This Midtown was a sensational map. Even though Toronto Defiant obviously won it, you know, it got real close here on point B. Costly C9, perhaps. You wanted your Sigma or Brig to touch when Pelican was forced to recall away. But for the most part, I mean, the engagement, the decision making, it looked a little bit too close for comfort on Esperanza. That's we talked about it back in the back, like that final fight in Colosseo. Sorry, yeah, Colosseo, not Esperanza. That final fight in the corridors, and you use a lot of ultimates, and it kind of slips away from you a little bit. They find a way to claw it themselves back.
You could feel, I think, how much pressure M80 was under this series with some of those. Like, they played so well in most of the series, but some of those fights, like the final fight, this should have been really easy. Like, they had massive ult advantage, and they did. I think they were feeling like the intense of, we can win this, like we're gonna win this, and a little bit of nerves there to be imperfect in those fights, but it doesn't matter. They get the wins on those maps anyway. Doesn't end up defining the series. They're able to bounce back, and I think Hawk, for me, I thought, okay, someone's incredibly good at tank. I thought it'd be really hard to gap him, but I think Hawk on the Orisa, when he caught those moments of tempo, I mean, he was in there and it looked great. So Hawk on the Orisa, for me, impressed in those matchups.
I mean, the entire team really came together here. So let's actually head back on to Suravasa and relive those final moments.
I'm living. One. Secure on point, secure point. Live. Back.
Calm down. We have Lucio here only. Lucio here only.
So slow. Marking Soch.
Trickster.
Walk.
Push. So.
This one. So. Soch one. Kill Soch.
Maxim.
Let's go.
Nice.
Let's go.
Nice job, guys.
Good shit, baby. Good shit.
Good stuff indeed, M80. And now we are getting ready for our winners interview. Gator is actually joining us for this one. First of all, congratulations. What an incredible match we just got to witness from M80. So you got to be feeling pretty good right now, securing that grand final spot. We assume you're going to meet Toronto Defiant there again, but Looking at your preparation for this match, we saw a lot of counter swapping. Did you have anything specific planned for that team, or were you just ready for anything?
I think we're just pretty much ready for anything. They refuse to take mirrors for the most part. A bit cowardly, but besides that, we were expecting to be in like an HQ battle because it's just at that point that's just how the game is played at this point. So that's all good. I don't think we saw anything we didn't see before. Nothing was really going to surprise us. I really just think we have the better roster, and this team's only been together for 3 weeks, and we've somehow found a way to get them to the East Coast in a suboptimal setup, but we're making it work, and
Yeah, so I'm curious about, getting this win puts you guys potentially at the top of NA if you can continue on and secure the victory in the grand finals. How do you think this puts you guys in position in the global stage, right? Thinking ahead to Dallas, you guys are qualified, playing against some of these titans being forged in Korea right now. How do you see those matchups going? Have you been scrimming at all? I know the ping is crazy, so you might not, but I'm just curious how you rate those international teams.
It really depends. I think if the hero ban system goes into place, that our two teams could actually win it all quite convincingly. But I think EU is really, really strong in this meta. It's going to be hard to beat them without any kind of bans. I think it'd be very easy to beat them if we were able to implement that ban system, which I think it should be like that because that's how League is. And I feel like at this point, it's time to start banning heroes. Like you can't just pick one hero and play it. But I think Korea is obviously the strongest. I'm not delusional. I think those two teams are probably the teams to beat. Maybe there's three. We'll see who makes it. But I think that's kind of where we stand.
All right, going back to America a little bit. There's been a lot of chirping going on in the scene, a lot of talking, overall in the scene. Do you feel like you kind of proved a point with this win here over Toronto Defiant and some of the other teams maybe talking smack?
Yeah, so it's kind of one of those things. Like you guys would know this. You've been around a while. It's like the newcomers. They can yap, but like when it comes down to it, they just choke. You know what I mean? Like. To be frank, I almost honestly retired, but I saw a lot of smack, so I had to come back and take care of business. Me and Hawk were both considering it, and at this point, we really came back just to prove a point. I feel like the point's been made now. Obviously, the Toronto players are insane, not to them, but just in NA in general. There's a lot of yapping, but there's not a lot of career results. That's all I'm gonna say.
I mean, enough said there, Gator. They be yapping, you guys are barking and biting, and it showed on the server today. Gator, thank you so much for joining me here for a quick chat, and of course, the best of luck in the grand finals.
Thanks, Jake. Thanks for your advice.
Thanks, Gator.
There you have it. Olgard coming back to make a point.
You can talk all you want, but someday you got to get up and walk. You got to get up and put up a performance in the grand finals. And I honestly, I think it's fair to say no one has done that to Toronto yet. So I think this is great for the scene for NA that we could have potentially two serious competitors in international Overwatch.
Yeah, but I think you're right, and I want to follow up on that point. Like, legitimately, this is the roster that could, compete with some of those international teams. This is not going to be North America qualifying with three teams, and you're like, well, Toronto Defiant, good luck, and we'll see about the other stuff. M80 are putting themselves in a position to compete with some of the best teams in the world. We've talked enough about Pelican and Happy, but also, Hawk, that flexibility in the tank role, like that's going to give you such a good advantage going into Dallas, being good at so many different compositions. And I feel like this is a really smart team. Like they put themselves in good positions to succeed with their compositional picks. They're not, some of these other teams we've been talking about it, like they're really good at this Orisa comp, they're really good at playing Sojourn Cassidy, and they have a Tracer player, but like when push comes to shove, when you have to compete against Korea, like can you really adapt accordingly? M80 is a team that I feel can adapt accordingly and put themselves in positions to succeed against some of the best in the world.
I mean, there's so many players there which are the obvious ones to highlight, but also people like Liar, who in their professional career in the OWCS League, they find themselves on teams where they weren't able to, showcase. I'm not naming any teams in particular, but thank you so much. Yeah, but it's great to see them finding the success as well and being able, to really play it up. So very, very great to see. We're now heading into a very quick break, and when we're back, we're gonna finish things strong with our last match here in the NA region. It's gonna be Citrus Nation going up against the students of the game.
It's as easy as 1, 2, 3, baby. You're my every little first to. Doesn't matter what you do, doesn't matter what you say. No, it doesn't. Think about you every night and day. I can't help the way I feel, 'cause my love for you is real. This feeling in my heart won't go away. Can't help what I'm feeling, I just wanted you to know. I can't break the spell that you have on me. I'm the one for you, girl, can't you see? It's as easy as 1, 2, 3. Baby, you're my every little everything. Take a chance, I'll never let you down. Baby, there for you when you turn around. Fall for you when you fall for me. 'Cause baby, I know there's something in the way you look at me. What's it gonna take to make you see? What's it gonna take to make you see? Break the spell that you have on me. Girl, can't you see? It's as easy as 1, 2, 3. Baby, you're my every little everything. Take a chance, I'll never let you down. Been for you when you turn around. Fall for you when you fall for me. 'Cause baby, your body really make me wanna shout. I know you're gonna show me what you do, gonna show me what it's all about. 'Cause you're so hot to the touch, I'm never gonna get enough. You really got it going on. Take me up to the top, give me everything you got. Can't stop moving till the night is gone. Just can't stop. When you do what you do to me, feel it in my veins. The rhythm of your body is driving me insane. Just can't stop the motion, no, it's not reality. You're gonna ride me till the dark, 'cause girl, you're sexing me. I can feel your body start to sweat, you're mesmerizing me. You know you're looking so fine. Show me what you're gonna do, girl, don't hesitate. You got me dizzy this time. Hey. 'Cause you're so hard to the touch, I'm never gonna get enough. You really got it going on. Take me up to the top, give me everything you got. Can't stop moving till the night is gone. Just can't stop. When you do what you do to me, feel it in my veins. The rhythm of your body is driving me insane. Can't stop the motion, no, it's not reality. Now you're gonna ride me till the dawn, 'cause girl, you're sexing me. Well, the things I'm gonna do, let me shock you, baby. Gonna turn it up tonight, yeah. Shock you, girl. Gonna make you see the light. Oh, 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 oh.
Yeah, our team's not the only ones who are turning it up tonight. Blowout Boys, of course, dropping their new tracks. Absolute fire.
Let's go.
There
Break
in our
music,
break.
so good these days.
So good.
On point.
So good. Yeah. Like, what are we doing here?
Matt's in the dance move.
Matt's in the back. He's like hyping himself up. I'm loving it. I'm absolutely loving it. Zoe here, joined by Jake and Johnny. We're about to set you up for our last match of the day. It's going to be an elimination match between Citrus Nation and Students of the Game. However, we have to preface this one with some, well, let's call it unfortunate news regarding Citrus Nation, Jake.
Yeah, so we've learned that due to a scheduling conflict with collegiate matches, the Lethal, who arguably star hit scan player for Citrus Nation, and the most veteran player on the team, is going to have to sub out of the match. Yeah, and shot caller. Is going to have to sub out of the match to make a collegiate land they're flying to. So rough situation all around for Citrus Nation. I think this was an underdog fight for them, but still they had impressed us so much so far.
They have momentum.
I mean, who knows, but this is a big L to take before a rough, what would be a hard match regardless.
So for the stakes, Citrus Nation, if they wanted to advance to Dallas, they would have not only have to beat Students of the Game and Toronto Defiant. So this is like they would have to, if they want to qualify for Dallas, it'd have to be such an incredible uphill. But anyway, it starts now against Students of the Game. And
Danny
instead, we got Danny coming in. And Danny is a contenders player. Been around for a while, been on Citrus Nation for a long time, also on a team called Amplify. So they've been around the block, okay? I think we're just looking at this sub as pretty unfortunate because of how impactful Lethal has been for this team. Because Lethal has been a standout hit scan player, and now we have Danny coming in instead. But the rest of the roster has been on point as well. We've been talking about Seb. You know, I kind of believe them when they say that Seb might be one of the best Orisas. Well, they said best Orisa. I don't want to go that far. But one of the best Orisas in the region. It's really stood out how they've been able to win the neutral fights in these Orisa duels. Tap, we talked about it, you know, a star player for this team when they actually beat Luminosity just a couple of hours ago. So this is a really stacked team, but a bit of an unfortunate sub. You lose one of your best players.
Yeah, they are going up against those Students of the Game who I probably would have favored in this matchup regardless of the starters. And so Students of the Game looking even stronger. If anything, this puts a lot of pressure on Students of the Game. It's like now it should be a free game. It's, you know, you shouldn't lose any team fights. And there's that question that will Students be a little bit unfocused, or will they make unforced errors because maybe there's so much expectation that they'll win now. I do think the veteran presence from Brack and Cal probably going to prevent that. And PGE, such a monstrous hit scan player, Danny is going to have his work seriously cut out for him because Students of the Game, Cal said it, they really want to qualify to Dallas. Well, Cal just said they will qualify to Dallas. So they're a team with a lot of confidence and a team that, frankly, I'd love to see on LAN. I think it'd be super exciting to get Infected first LAN.
Yeah.
Infected, PGE, Scissors would all be their first LAN. I'm not even sure Rack or Cal have played on LAN.
No, I don't think they qualified for one, do they?
I'm not sure, but regardless, a lot of new faces, and this really is the team of up-and-comers in North America. I mean, with Timeless eliminated, this is that team who's wanting to break into the next level, and for them to get their feet wet in international competition, it's a moment of learning. Let's say the first time you play against a full Korean team and you just get ruffle stomped, and you're like, oh, that's how the game's supposed to be played.
Ruffle stomp?
You need to get educated, all right?
Okay, all right.
All I'm saying is, look, I want to see them go to Dallas, but all I'm saying is it's not so fun when you play the full Korean squad. You learn how the game is meant to be played.
Yeah, I mean, again, unfortunate situation here, of course, for Citrus Nation. I dare say they probably do not have practice with Danny inside the roster, so maybe they just pull out something crazy. That said, the opposition Students of the Game, they showed us a lot of different looks, a lot of different compositions that they've played. So, yeah, I mean, Infected on a Wrecking Ball. I'm here for it. We just saw it yesterday. Let's see if they pull it out again, or if there is absolutely no reason to go that far. Let's find out with Mitch and Matt.
She said me first this time.
It's true.
Owned.
You guys Weaver believers?
Well, I mean, that's because
what?
Are you guys Weaver believers?
With,
I'm a Weaver believer, actually. I see no reason to bust that out here. That could be, you know, very powerful. Also, I think we've even seen it in like the Sigma comp, oddly enough, like the Weaver there, like just with this ridiculous like healing throughput to let you basically win like any war of attrition. It's really powerful.
Yeah, I mean, I think you could play the Life Weaver here, just given the circumstances, and I know Rag Attack's love for the Life Weaver. Yeah, so you could potentially see it come out. I don't think it's like amazing. Like I wouldn't be like, hey, everybody, jump on live, start playing Lifeweaver. Don't think that's the advice.
I mean, there's very defined weaknesses for Lifeweaver, which is fine. There actually are a number of supports who's like they have like this heavy mobility in the vertical direction, and it's interesting because it gives them flexibility and the ability to take advantage of a lot of terrain, but doesn't give them great escape potential from a lot of dive comps. So.
Has there ever been a player under more pressure than Danny right now?
Let me think. I mean, Jerry had a lot of high expectations. It also sounds like Danny, you know what I mean? But like, Jerry basically became an instant star, and all of a sudden,
I think back to like, Game 5 Dialogics, Shanghai, Florida, like that level of pressure.
Done this way. You just dredged that out. That is like 2018 vibes. Yeah, sure. I guess that logics and Dia.
Hey, Toronto was on pace to do the inverse Shanghai.
That's true.
They were almost 44-1, but they ended up losing.
Yeah, I remember that game. Florida really did not want to lose that one. They were adamant about it. A lot of pressure on them. Citrus Nation here. Again, they're going to have to find a way to set Danny up for success.
Spoiler alert. Jeez, you didn't have to tell everybody Shanghai lost.
I mean, I know you should remember who Shanghai beat for the first time, folks. That was a pretty memorable moment, and the team it was too was quite hilarious. But this is the match we're talking about right now because it's the one that's happening in front of me in real time, live. That's right, folks. Citrus Nation, you have to find a way in. Nicely done, Danny with the first. Yeah. Taking down PGE.
Yeah, and Tap finds one as well.
Well, look, I think there was a Lucio involvement there. Jacob gives up their life ultimately, but I think they boop PGE forward there off that safe position on top of the point.
Yeah, I think PGE thinks he's just going to have like a 1v1 out there on the high ground, and that is not the case, as students of the game does take point first, but it's a nice collapse there from Citrus Nation. Players from both sides just kind of converge onto the point. And now you'll keep Zeb all topped up now as you can take this high ground control.
I'm pretty sure the desk talked about this, but students of the game don't actually have to win here to qualify for Dallas. Even if they lose and Citrus Nation go on to lose to Toronto, which is likely, they will qualify. So that takes a lot of pressure off them here. But as it was pointed out on the desk, I think by Jake, they don't want to be dropping team fights. They don't want to be dropping maps here to Citrus Nation, who are, of course, dealing with some extenuating circumstances. They want to come through this lower bracket with some strength. Here's the Kitsune Rush now. Pressure is on. Citrus Nation starting to get a bit more aggressive as students of the game began that cap, and beautiful pulse bomb. Nothing Danny could do about that.
Yeah, Tap lands a pulse bomb as well. Doesn't result in a kill, but finishes off PGE. But Scissors able to connect with two, as that'll be students of the game taking the lead here. I also think even if let's say Citrus Nation, you look at it as students of the game and you're like, all right, well, even if we lose this, we feel pretty good about Toronto. Why have your fate be handled by another team, right? You just kind of come in here and take care of business here against Citrus Nation and secure your spot. Also, probably even potentially even help your seeding, right, depending on how you place here the rest of the way. So students of the game, sound barrier for both sides. That was actually Zeb using the Terror Surge in the previous fight, so not on the table here. As Neutral actually finds Scissors, so Scissors getting pretty aggressive, but PG answers the big kill.
Danny gets dropped down again. Rene was looking to start that fight. Important that students of the game can at least find an equalizer there early. PGE very low, backing up to the point, able to benefit from the sound barrier, and Citrus Nation now have one of their own. This will allow them to forge ahead. Danny still coming off respawn here, probably on the site about now. Hopefully they can have some impact here because Zeb is on an island.
Few kills there with the overclock there from PG and Infected pushing on through, and like the desk was talking about, it'd be awesome really to see either of these teams make it to Dallas. The students of the game look like potentially taking this first point. Players who we've seen for a very long time in the Overwatch scene, like Ragtag and Cal, don't believe they actually even played at any of the Overwatch League lands, considering Vegas was not really that great. Then Cal joined quite late in just kind of the year, and then all these young faces and players from all over, right? All different kind of, whether it be contenders, collegiate, everybody kind of converging with the teams in EU and APAC. It would be really exciting to see some of these players
what do you
compete.
think students of the game's jerseys are going to look like? They got to get jerseys. It's a major.
Yeah, I mean, they'd have to. I mean, look, they can hit me up. I'll figure out a way to get them some jerseys. I'll take on that burden.
I just want grad caps and the robes. That's all I want. Easy. Don't worry about headsets. Those are overrated.
They should play in the robes. That would be pretty epic.
Students of the game. Well, that's a future that's very much on the table here.
I'd fund that. If they want to play in the robes, I'll go on the record.
I warn you.
I'll find them the graduation robes.
Even a higher. Really not cheap.
Look, we'll find them used here somewhere in New York, and it works for a school district. We'll figure it out.
All right, you heard the man. Hit Matt up. Danny, though, again, finds the first kill of the round. Cal suffering at the hands of the railgun.
I feel like I'm going to end up with a huge bill for some kind of like high school
normally you're a bit
robes.
better at business than this, man. You're going to have to find a way to resell them, turn a profit. Maybe you should start a school for, kids that can't read good and other things. And then you could have them to be used for later on once they can read good. Yeah.
Okay. Not sure that's a great business venture. Jacob just takes out scissors at range. I think that was like actually a spear that connects from Zeb, and then some just kind of Cheerios there from Jacob. So, yet again, I mean, look, even with Citrus Nation, right? We talked about the situation. Danny with some really nice accolades, some good performances coming in, and they get the point first on both of these first controls. So. Citrus Nation looking like they don't really miss a beat, right? As I think it just even puts a little bit more pressure on Tap, as they've been very good today.
Don't know what Tap was looking for there necessarily. Maybe a little bit concerned about the Cassidy. They just blink across the gap and then back to the point. Okay, play around the Kitsune Rush now. Citrus Nation still in control of the point here, and it will be forcing a sound barrier out of Rack Attack. Okay, double support ults, and PGE instantly finds value through the Amp Matrix. Danny just lingering a little too long out in the open. Punished by the Amp shots from the Peacekeeper. And Citrus Nation here are in deep trouble. No need to stagger this out. You take 60%, you're happy with it, you reformulate your strategy.
Yes, everybody just kind of gets wiped away there from Citrus Nation. But Citrus Nation, you just end up using that rush, right? You have everything here for this next fight. So we'll see what kind of avenue do they decide to take, right? Do they want to kind of like fight for this right-hand side? Do they want to kind of like poke move up from that mid? It looks like it's going to be the right-hand side approach here for Citrus Nation. Get that speed boost. They're going to lead in with an overclock. Danny gets it with a spear, but they're able to keep
Danny's
him
still
up.
able to fire off those shots, so the ultimate's not going to get cancelled from that brief stun. Pulse, Danny steps away from it perfectly. There was going to be a Suzu anyway, just in case it was a stick. Zeb catches Rack Attack inside the Terror Surge, and Citrus Nation are back to business.
Yeah. There's a huge Terror Surge. Like, typically you don't really hold it for that long, right? But he's got the benefits of the sound barrier and just able to hold it and do mass damage and pick up some kills even after, with a kill during the Terror Surge. So just like that, Citrus Nation flipped the point back. It's still putting up a really good fight here.
They're looking more than serviceable right now. And they're definitely poised to take this round away if things keep going in their favor. What benefits them, of course, is that students of the game don't have any huge ultimates outside of the Terror Surge, and like you pointed out, you only really get the big damage when your Orisa has a sound barrier. She can afford to hold that ultimate for longer and longer. Tap, though, instantly dying. I mean, that's why Tap was so scared earlier on, I think, playing up close to where, it was all students of the game starting to filter out. No Tracer means no backline pressure. Cal had the Immortality Field, which bought plenty of time. Danny had to waste time removing that. And very quickly, Citrus Nation swept away.
Yeah, as PG finds two, right? I think that's kind of like a big, battle, right? Where, can Tap put that pressure onto PG to open up some space there for Danny, right? PG is so good. One of the players I think, for the start of the OWCS, fans have just kind of gravitated towards, right? Some of his awesome play. Can he kind of come up with those types of kills, right? To really send this team to Dallas.
Pulse there for Scissors, recall after the fact as it didn't quite connect. Still looking to put pressure on that back line of Citrus Nation, but Neutral is about to let this Kitsune Rush go. As soon as Zeb gets close enough here to really start to fight properly, bam, comes down instantly. Amp Matrix going to be completely ignored, circumvented by the attacking Citrus Nation. They are not affected by it. The Rack had a sound barrier up just in time. It's going to be a trade. PGE is down, but both supports for Citrus Nation have been dealt with. And in fact, it can just send this now. Even just for disruption, if nothing else. That could be a problem. But Scissors is healthier and is forced to recall already. Elsewhere, Zeb went for a Terror Surge and was able to find Cal off the backside of it, but the Orisa will be dragged down. Too much damage. Jacob has to go hog wild to stay alive here, and the 2v1 does not favor him.
No, it looks like you actually have neutral back in the mix, but man, Scissors cannot miss at the moment. Is just coming back with the recall. Few kills there. PGE with a Deadeye to end it. So students of the game will take map number 1. Some wild tracer play there from Scissors. We talk a lot about PG and what he can do with the hit scan, but the tracer play from students of the game is sick as well.
Yeah, it's been really, really good. PGE, honestly, like, dealing with being outranged at times by the Sojourn, so maybe didn't get to highlight nearly as much there. But the one clip from Scissors was beautiful. There wasn't even a 1 versus 2 for that Lucio. There was a Kiriko in position to sort of Susu there. Yeah. So very important that you get rid of that Lucio as quickly as possible and take the advantage there. Really scrappy fight, but I think, broadly speaking, I'm sure they'd rather have Lethal in play here. Yes, there's a possibility this match could go differently, but Danny has absolutely held their own, I think, so far in this game. And it's been able to find some key picks here. I mean, we can see this right at the start of the game. The setup there, though, from Jacob was something else. The double boop of 2 players up in the air, making them easy shots for Danny. But they have definitely been able to capitalize on the opportunities served up to them by the rest of this Citrus Nation team. But they're still dealing with Infected and Scissors, who are playing fantastically. Rax beats were on point for the entirety of Nepal. This is going to be a tough opponent to try and bring down.
Absolutely. It's a very veteran backline, right, with Rack Attack and Cal, and comboed with a lot of really impressive, younger players in the scene, right, where Infected can make some crazy plays in the tank role, and then we talk so much about the damage dealers, but I think it's kind of that veteran leadership from that backline, right? Cal has had some awesome moments, and Rack Attack as well. So they even love to play some of the weirder kind of comps. This is the ending sequence, right? I know that's this is a wild sequence of events, right? You have Rack Attack here, helping Scissors. That's the Suzu. His neutral kind of TPs on in, and then PG walks up with a Deadeye to put it away. So stats look pretty one-sided, but this was not a one-sided map, as Citrus Nation more than held their own.
It doesn't take much, actually, for that KD to blow out if one team just wins 2 fights back-to-back, because it hinges on eliminations. So you can get a lot of eliminations for winning one team fight. Like if everyone gets involved in every kill, that's like 25, right? So, few teams can be very, very even for so much of the map.
That was pretty good math.
Thanks. Yeah, appreciate it, Matthew. Again, so that kind of stat can, vary greatly. We saw these two teams very closely contested together, I think, and a good start in that second round here for Citrus Nation. They couldn't keep it up. But this next map is one that I've really liked them on. Yeah. I think the biggest example of Citrus Nation being great on Paraiso was against Pirates in Pajamas, where they just stuck to that Orisa comp against, the Winston dive. They navigated that really well, even if at times it was hard to attack against it. They looked fantastic there.
Yeah, and I wonder if students of the game will be a little bit baited into maybe playing some of that dive kind of centric play here on Paraiso, because historically it is really strong, right? Playing that Winston or Diva controlling the high ground, right? But in the last time we saw Citrus Nation play it, they played a lot of the Orisa, and they really took advantage of a lot of the dive comps we saw on the other side from Pirates in Pajamas. So I think if you just kind of have that knowledge, if you're students of the game as well, you've been pretty good on this Orisa, no reason to change things up, right? I think you kind of keep moving forward with that.
Yeah, we've seen Infected with a ton of different picks here. I think the Des talked about even the Wrecking Ball making an appearance on occasion. I don't know if this is the kind of game with the stakes that are upon this match to go for a pick like that, but students of the game, especially after how Nepal went, should feel confident enough mirroring those Orisa-based compositions, relying on PGE and Scissors to provide a lot of that impact around just the great Orisa gameplay that we're seeing from Infected. So students of the game, I feel like still in a pretty favored position. Sometimes teams look much closer together on those control maps, and then the gap starts to become noticeably wider when we start to move to some of these hybrid and escort maps.
Yeah, that is true. Potentially, you start to see a gap open or widen between these two teams as we move on. In this series. Look, I think if you're students of the game and you've practiced, some of the dive on these maps, I think you kind of go with it, right? I don't think you kind of just change because of the Orisa looked really good in map number 1 or whatnot. And I think just even if you looked at the stakes of the series, I don't think you kind of take that into account. I think you just kind of have to play your own game, even if you have some wacky kind of comps planned for things like this, because you almost have to look at students of the game this is kind of your quote unquote final, so to speak, right? You win this, you're in. So treat this with everything, throw all your strats out on this one.
Students of the game qualified as the top seed out of their group. I will say it was the group that didn't sort of feature anything like, you know, Timeless or LG or M80 or the Toronto Defiant, right? Like it was a group that, like, on paper looked like students of the game would be able to advance from it. But since then, they've been put to the test in this lower bracket. They've had to take down some really quality teams. We're also, you know, if they win here, we get a chance to, again, take their measure against a powerhouse like the Toronto Defiant. Because a lot of the discussion here in North America is, well, where does the tier break exist? Because we'll end up at our Dallas Major with, again, like our top NA teams, and students of the game are standing right now to be among them. We want to know not only how do M80 and Toronto compete internationally, but how good is the depth of talent in North America?
Well,
how well can students of the game perform at such a high-stakes international scene?
Well, that's the thing. I mean, if you know, students of the game advance in this series, right? Like, they have to start playing well against those Torontos and the M80s and whatnot, right? Like, these are the types of caliber of teams they're going to face from here on out, right? You don't have a lot of time to really going to get on that level, so to speak, but you're going to have to work it out. And maybe, you know, meta shift, right? Venture comes into the mix. Things change a little bit.
What is
this? You can open things up. So this is what they ran. They ran this the other day. They ran Lifeweaver Ana. That's kind of like a backline they've kind of gone towards with Infected on the Winston. So they're going to play that, you know, dive in terms of tank, right? No more to just kind of like keeping control of high ground and being able to put some pressure with the same type of, you know, PGE Sojourn and Scissors on the Tracer on the defensive
Let's hear what
side.
Citrus Nation have to say when they encounter this defensive comp.
I'm going to my stairs.
I'm not there.
They've left here. I'm walking 3, 2.
I break pedal. Ana's close.
Okay.
He slid. Ana close top left still.
I'm shooting him.
He's on the pedal.
Yeah, I'm actually just beaming him.
Yeah, just keep trying it. I don't think that's good.
No nade.
I'm behind him.
Soji that? He has to get pulled out and then we push top right, okay?
1-3.
Oh, well.
They pulled down.
I'm literally just walking
Back
up to the court.
I'm speeding on them.
Monkey on me.
What's in cat?
Monkey down.
Yeah, I have backline stuff.
Come here.
Careful. Wall one.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I'm dropping on the back trading.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm kind of off. I boots on man. Oh, I can't. What the heck?
Yeah,
I mean, Citrus Nation call very effectively what students of the game have to do about Cal getting stuck in that corner.
Yeah, I loved that. You know, even though it doesn't end up working out, right? You know, Zep kind of calling like, hey, but once they kind of grip, we're going to walk forward, right? And they get them into a great position. It's just Scissors able to take out one, and everybody just getting kind of chunked down. They're not able to find a kill. Then just the health bars dwindle, and then students of the game able to push on back out. So students of the game will have a nano boost here, potentially for Infected in this next fight.
That'll allow Infected to cycle into an earlier, primal range than they otherwise would have had. A lot of focus on breaking these pedals here as well. Citrus Nation don't want to allow for that sort of rapid vertical translation of any key targets they'd otherwise be able to descend upon. Ooh, dangerous, very dangerous. Zeb fortunate to get out alive there. Body blocked by Infected, I think, allowing Neutral to get caught.
Yeah. He's just standing in the doorway, not everybody able to make it out. I think Neutral got stuck. And I like the way that they're playing this, like, Winston-based composition on defense, right? They're not being aggressive. They're kind of, like, letting Citrus Nation be, you know, almost playing like a counter dive, right? You know, letting them be the team that's aggressive, pushing on in as they have that pedal watching the back, now going to be able to kind of, like, walk up over that, or maybe have to use a blink or two to cross. So Danny now will play the Echo, so no hit scan here for Citrus Nation. Under 2 minutes to go.
90 seconds, in fact. Zeb here already trying to take the stairs, but PGE punishes, and Jacob didn't even really make a huge mistake there. PGE just ruins Lucio as he tries to, you know, wall climb out across that large expanse.
Yeah, the tree.
Big tree means big problems for Zeb. Off you go.
There's nothing Zeb can really do there. Gets stuck behind the tree and not able to help the rest of his team get split off. So that's another benefit of the Lifeweaver ultimate, right? Can just block off an entire choke point. As this is probably the best chance for Citrus Nation. Sound Barrier, Kitsune Rush, Terror Surge with a minute to go. So look at this, Cal in a position where going to try and get a big bio
And you can
grenade.
grip him out.
Could get cleansed though.
Yeah, and it'll need a Suzu. You can just grip Cal out, so this doesn't even become like a one and done spot anymore. Maybe now? Yep, here it is. Okay, Katsuna Rush as the grip does get applied. Cal, I don't know if you wanted to be there after all.
Yeah, it was one and done.
1 for 1, no. It's actually, 2 for 2 trade, excuse me. Primal here for Infected. PGE, in the meantime, dominating in Citrus Nation. Had an opportunity, a real opening there, map, but they're unable to capitalize. And PGE gets ignored as far as I can tell. Multiple railgun headshots, continuing to take over another game is PGE.
Yeah, as they're trying to find this kill onto Tap, as gets the health pack at the right time. He's the one who's going to have to touch here for Citrus Nation. You have Jacob here as well, as sound barriers on the table.
This time, overtime absolutely secured. Sound barrier by Jacob as they were hit by a biotic grenade. Suzu also committed for just the Lucio. Okay, speculative pulse bomb there from Scissors, hoping to catch Jacob on the way down, but this Primal, you cannot do anything about it. Oh my god. You can have all the mobility in the world, and you'll still crumble once Infected hits Q. Pulse bomb there on the outside of the bubble, and a very easy hold here for students of the game.
Solid work.
Yeah, some really interesting, Life Weaver mechanics at times there from Rack Attack. The amount of healing that Life Weaver can provide. He's also like pretty tanky, surprisingly, right? When Dash now does a little bit of a self-heal type of thing, so he can be really difficult to take out. Gets the nano boost there at the end for celebratory reasons. Citrus Nation not able to even get a tick, so pretty poor result.
There was a time, obviously, where Lifeway was so easily hit because of the pedal, the way the pedal sort of extended his hitbox outside of maybe what the model normally was. A little bit harder to hit now, and quite durable, as you mentioned. Let's listen in to students of the game as they're poised to take part of Izo very quickly.
You can left click.
No, but and then I can't right click or left. What do you mean make it left click?
You can dual thing. You can dual bind. You didn't know that? You're a noob. Wait, PG, we got a noob on our team.
Wait, you can do
what?
that?
Do what?
You can bind 2 things to 1 button.
Yeah, you can do that? I honestly did not know that, bro. What?
Oh, we're
What?
noobs together.
Wait,
That's
what?
crazy.
You can bind. Come here.
You could.
Would this be the first draw of OWCS?
Okay.
Yes, PG.
What?
Yes, PG.
Would this be the first draw?
Wait, PG, hit that jumper. Hit that jumper.
TP turn off.
Wait, I'll give you bubble. I'll give you bubble.
Wait, PG, hit that jumper. That's wing stop.
Hey, say that. Say no more.
I'm not buying it though. You can buy that.
Nah, you good?
No,
You're allowed to have wing stop. Wait, I have an insane Mercy skin. Wait, PG, come here. Trust me.
Yeah.
Jump on that.
Wait, that's a widow. What? That widow. Wait, let me get Echo in. Let me get Echo in.
Nope. Alright, darn a Lari. I can jump a Lari in 2. Can you go Lari?
Yeah, I can go.
You give me pedal.
3, 2, 1.
Nading?
I'm not scared, actually.
Swing rest for now.
I'm setting up above.
Give me time to let me go flank right. Let me flank right.
Look, guys, still.
Oh, no, it's Torb. Rest is going behind. I have full intent.
Alright, I'm gonna jump above their high ground. I need setup.
Pedal, you want pedal here.
Alright, wait.
They're on Weaver.
Just farm me nano.
You might die, but
shoot
shit, my bad.
Oh, why'd you do that?
I'm going widow.
Alright.
Let me go under. Oh, fuck.
Oh my god, guys, please just stop.
Hey,
Just stop.
Just chill.
Wait for nano.
Let me peek.
Wrist in.
I'm fine. We're fine.
Oh, I guess they didn't know about Danny's widow. That is clean stuff from the super sub coming in at the last moment.
As you got Jacob on the Life Weaver on defense as well, right? So little Life Weaver Lari, we've seen this kind of combo as well. So I see there the pedal just launching Zeb up to the high ground.
PG trying to fire under it to put some pressure down on Tap, and Scissors finally gets rid of Danny. The menace, the widow causing them so much trouble, and now there'll be a little bit more work to do here for Scissors, but this should be pretty much broken wide open. Make it 3, why not? Iliari falling here, Pulse now stuck on a bioed Orisa. None of me that. It is all done here on Paraiso as students of the game show us that Winston dive with the Life Weaver defense and turn it into a very, very quick attacking side. That was a one-sided game.
Yeah, really fun comps though from both teams, right? I get to see some Lifeweaver in action. Rag Attack seems to be like the #1 Lifeweaver. Always wants an opportunity to run it. Ran it in the past at times. Now running it in OWCS now, a little bit more viable now than it was in the past. I know Lifeweaver's gone under a ton of changes at this point to just kind of the numbers where. They play around the grip, they play around the pedal. With that on a nano boost in the mix, kind of help that tank, and they make quick work of Citrus Nation here on
I will say that, and we mentioned it, right? Allowing your Ana to play these like really aggressive off angles to guarantee big biotic grenades, and then basically making that unpunishable by gripping them out. Seems like a very powerful strategy. It was punishable, though, in the sense that we saw immediate follow-up from Citrus Nation. They pushed into the position of that Ana after the live grip had been used, and they're able to rush in and take both supports down. And it doesn't matter, because PGE out there is finding 3 kills. 2 of them are like railgun headshots. You obviously can't find those insta-kills nearly as easily as Sojourn anymore, but PGE going absolutely wild. And then there's like a Primal Rage from Infected that, towards the end of the round here, you see it just gets so much value. Danny on the Widow looked really good. We obviously didn't get to see a ton from their perspective. We saw them happen on the kill feed, though, and students of the game like, hey, guys, let's just win here. I think that was probably Infected being like, can we play seriously?
Yeah, let's wrap this one up, right? Let's leave nothing to chance as we take a look at some of the Widowmaker stats.
Oh, Danny's alias is just so good.
I assume it's Danny. That is Danny there. So did have some moments there on the Widowmaker.
Never changed, Danny. Yeah, do we actually see PG on the Widow? I think that was maybe just like a general.
Yeah, we did for a little bit.
I don't know if there was enough time for them to get 16 eliminations, but I mean, yeah, that's what the scorecard reads out here. So nice to get a little bit of Widowmaker play. And we'll see now what we get on Esperanza. This, of course, is students of the game's map pick. Colosseo, of course, having been banned out here. So a lot on the line for students of the game. Win here guarantees their presence at the Dallas Major. It's a great honor to sort of achieve that. They'll be surrounded by some incredibly formidable opponents, but what an opportunity to continue to develop as a team. You have veterans of yesteryear in global Overwatch play, but even they have not had the chance to represent at a LAN like this. Every one of them desperately wanting to be there.
Oh, I mean, it's a huge step up, right? In competition. But they've worked extremely hard, right? Throughout stage 1, throughout here in stage 2. Keeping it together and looking extremely good as just one map away from securing that spot. And I think on this map, right, I don't think there's going to be any shenanigans from both teams. I think you're going to see strictly these Orisa comps.
Looks like you're right, Matthew. Lucio Kiriko for students of the game. And the Baptiste variant of this composition for Citrus Nation to maybe pair a little bit, as we've discussed, with the Cassidy more effectively.
Yeah, and I think if students of the game wants to, Cal, they're a really good Baptiste player, so could see this switch up. But here at the start with a little bit more range, being able to kind of play that Kiriko, get in and out with that Sojourn can definitely be beneficial.
Again, a lot of pressure on Danny to deliver. So far, they've looked quite good. I think what is expected of you, or what will be required of you more specifically against PGE, though, probably goes a little bit beyond that. That's not a knock on Danny at all. It's just what it takes at this level to find success. Citrus Nation 0-2 in maps here. So this is match point now for students of the game.
Yeah, as both teams just kind of poking around center map here is they have to do a decent job of controlling Scissors, right? I mean, Tap has been pretty good throughout the day, but Scissors went absolutely crazy on Paraiso. Can't allow him to do that to your backline again.
That was nasty. Like a 3K in one of those fights, I think, salvaging what could have been a pretty bad situation.
Building this beat pretty fast. You're just letting Rag Attack suck up all this healing.
That is pretty huge. Jacob's still a little bit behind the 8 ball here, but students of the game probably want to be reactive with their beat rather than proactive, so likely won't need to use it until Jacob has one too. But something worth noting, just the sheer amount of healing being put out. Here it is neutral, trying to play from this Amp Matrix. Going to be forced away from it though by what looked like a spear. Scissors follows up, gets rid of the Baptiste now, and it's going to be dangerous here for Zeb to hang around any longer. They had no choice though. Students of the game looking very clean here.
Yeah, as they push in behind their Kitsune Rush in Sound Barrier, they're able to take some of that high ground. So for Citrus Nation, you just kind of give up that fight, and they hold on to a Sound Barrier of their own. So holding on to it probably because, you know, PG is going to be coming in with that overclock, right? And you want to have that extra over healing, over health to deal with this big Sojourn ult.
To the high ground here for PGE. Can you play around this Sound Barrier at all? Tap also always a threat with a Pulse Bomb in hand. Now looking at the high ground here, so kind of hard to get a good fight as the defenders now until the attackers commit, and they do. My goodness, they commit. They go hard. Students on the game here, no beat of their own, so it's going to be tough now to win against the very durable Citrus Nation who are ready for this engagement. Citrus Nation got exactly what they wanted there.
Yeah, I mean, they have to commit there, right? If they don't, you know, you just kind of let them use that overclock, push on through. I mean, you're starting to run through the map in a fast pace. So students of the game, they end up losing that fight. Citrus Nation with some good ultimate usage come out on top. They'll start to get some bot progress in control of the high ground.
I don't even know if students of the game really had to commit in that fight. We're just hoping to force the beat. It's kind of unclear, really. Either way, Citrus Nation wanted the fight to be brought to them. And it was. Danny here. Again, playing this bridge angle. Not as easy as Sojourn to really dominate it because you don't have to disrupt the shot and you have some damage fall off at that range. Danny slides forward. Ooh, that's dangerous.
Oh, that's an Orisa.
Yeah, here's the Terra Surge. Danny! Suzu able to roll out of it. Nicely done. Infected getting picked off for playing over aggressive, and Zeb turns it around on Cal. That was great from Citrus Nation. Great looks in that last fight.
Yes, even though the Infected gets in the back line, they're still able to keep Danny alive throughout all of this, even with the Terror Surge. As Susan moved the bot back just to try and you know, stall out some progress for just a little bit. And now the bot will get back to where it was. So even though you win that fight, you don't really get much of anything from it in terms of progress.
Yeah, Citrus Nation still playing catch up here. Students of the game almost got a full objective, almost a full checkpoint in that previous engagement because they had such a one-sided fight that they won. They push on. Continuing rush here for the bridge would be fine for Citrus Nation if they want to exacerbate this position, and students of the game don't really want to give them like an easy way to run up on them. Defensive Kitsune rush from students. Zeb caught out in no man's land.
Yeah, rush from
no armor, neutral low. They've got to back away here. All those cooldowns for Zeb being used, but they are going to chase this Orisa down, and there's nothing left to keep them alive. Pulse, beautiful stick. Scissors gets a freebie there as well as neutral. Cops some of that AoE damage. And in theory, this is a very easy kill to pick up, but Jacob's going to make it impossible to follow.
Yeah, as it looks like Jacob's going to make it out there with his life, so not going to be able to follow anything major, but still able to survive as the Pulse Bomb was sick. Kitsune rushes to match each other. I think for Citrus Nation now, you're just worried about giving up checkpoint. Yeah, they've come out. They want to fight this. They don't want to give this position up.
Fortify used though for Zeb. That's a big problem. There's no cooldowns left for the Orisa. The Sound Barrier now is something they're going to have to lean on. But PGE already found a pick. See, Zeb dies basically instantly as soon as that Sound Barrier expires. And it's tough for Zeb because they have no choice. If they don't use that Fortify coming out of the door, they get speared back and they give up the checkpoint.
They just explode. Yeah, I mean, they'd also just get so much damage coming through that doorway, right? So, like a disruptor shot, some damage from PGE, tracer damage. I mean, there's nothing they could do there. As nice shot into neutral, almost finishes neutral off as they'll be tapped. That's a Pulse Bomb that actually connected onto Infected, but nice Suzu there from Cal, keeping everybody okay. Is this going to be a wraparound here from Citrus?
Pushman Infected's ready for it. Yeah, just gets a little bit of damage with that Terror Surge, but more importantly, disrupt Citrus Nation as they try and run in together. Tat, though, finds both backliners. Tracer's here running wild on both sides. Pulse? Oh, my goodness. I like the idea from Scissors, but no way that was catching on. Projectile size is getting smaller and smaller as the game develops. It's a little bit harder to find those speculative sticks. Tap will still get PGE and Citrus Nation. Now with a bit of catch-up to do.
Yeah, still a 50-meter lead, though. I mean, that is huge there. 4 students of the game, under 4 minutes. Now every time they win this fight, right, the bot will go deep back into the Citrus Nation territory as Citrus Nation desperately needs the checkpoint here. I think that would be pretty huge if they're able to do so. As Scissors, we see from their POV, just gets on the cart, just contests it for just a little bit.
They want to play the high ground, though, which makes it harder to force this bot over. Zed does drop here. Cal was very low for a moment, but able to get brought back to full health. So you do have a Kitsune Rush to lead with here. Probably want this on the low ground now. Probably on the other side of the bot in Infected's direction. PGE is not in a great place to fight here. And I think Infected knows that. They're going to back away here. Cal has a rush of their own, though. There's going to be an overclock here. The damage on the Zeb is good, but they're not here. The Deadeye, they have no idea. Danny finds PGE at extreme range. Terra Surge, Zeb, unkillable virtually. Infected can't say the same for them, though. Tap's going to be able to bring them down. While Scissors will find 1, 2, no less. Citrus Nation, with 3 players, should still be able to push up. Oh my goodness, eventually the Tracer's got to die. Surely. What the heck?
I mean, Kill takes 3 on the way out, though. Look at this. Now you have Rag Attack back. Yeah, you're going to get a contest
spear, though. That makes it virtually impossible here.
Yeah,
you can't slide up on this, and Citrus Nation get the checkpoint. Danny with a sneaky Deadeye, undetected.
Yeah, but you're not going to get much of anything else with the way that Scissors just killed all those players on the objective. You're able to have Rack Attack come back, not exactly stop the checkpoint, but get it so everybody else, PG and Co can come back, and now we get a fight mid-map. I think you're approaching like a must-win fight scenario for Citrus Nation, right? You have to win. You cannot allow the bot to go deeper into your territory with under like a minute to go. I think you'd be in a really tough spot.
Scissors hears the sound of the Peacemaker firing off. Right now, just trying to stop Tap from flanking. Scissors feeling a bit more defensive here. Also back up for a little bit more healing. Giving ground now to Cassidy to move into that space, but the stick is good. Suzu had to be there. Danny breathes a sigh of relief now. The Cassidy gets to continue to run wild. Sound barrier. Infected stuck instantly. Tap with 2. Infected backing up in a rack. Apparently, Citrus Nation finding a glimmer of hope here, but the bot is heading the wrong direction for them. They've got to recover that. Cheeky stuff there, I think, from Scissors, leading the bot away from the fight.
Yeah, would love to get a replay of that, but I believe actually that's Rack Attack going for the sound barrier who gets stuck there, and then Infected blows up as well. That is a huge play there from Tap, as I think regardless of what happens with Citrus Nation, right, a lot of these players, stocks have gone up in a big ways. Tap that is sick.
Tough pill for Rack to swallow. Some individual brilliance here from Citrus Nation have kept them in this game thus far, but now we're into our last minute on Paraíso. Students of the game threatening to do some sogging on land with a win here. Danny forced off that line of sight. Big overclock. There's no way Zeb's getting away there. 2 overextended for the positioning of the Sojourn, and PGE finds another. Danny falls. And now Citrus Nation back where they started. It's a slim lead now for students of the game, but they are poised to extend it. We'll have matched Kitsune rushes in this next fight, so it's anyone's fight.
Yes, but they do have PG set up here on the high ground, and you don't really have to kind of jump down and fight this if you're no reason the game, right? Citrus Nation's the team that needs to be aggressive here in this scenario.
Very true. No incentive in order to do that. Still, students of the game want to drop. Deadeye for Danny from the high ground. Interrupted. Beautiful spear there from Infected. Barely turns around to pay attention to the Cassidy. And turns that ult off. Somehow Zeb caught again. PGE just doesn't miss with these railguns that Sojourn plays with immaculate. Pulse there, predictive. Swift step away for neutral, but it's not going to be enough. Students of the game are headed to land, folks. A 3-0 victory over Citrus Nation. In some tough circumstances for the nation. Students of the game, they'll be happy to take the dub and move on in this lower bracket.
I mean, that wasn't even an overclock at the end, right? Those are just, railgun shots that are built up so fast there by PGE and just connecting with, multiple players. Scissors also having a great series. Students of the game looks like they're trying to hit that next level, right? We talked about that tier break. Where is it? In North America, can they contend with the Toronto Defiance and the M80s? I think now, obviously, we'll get to see how they fare, globally as well, which will be really exciting stuff. I'd also say for Citrus Nation, they had a tremendous run, right? I know obviously Lethal not here in this match, but had a great stage 2. I think a lot of their other players as well, performed quite well. So difficult situation. I don't think anything to hang their heads about.
No doubt about it. But Citrus, students of the game rather have a seat at the table to play with the big boys in the OWCS major at Dallas. Let's head over to the Desto and break this game down here at 3-0. Students of the game Lock it up.
An unsurprising result, obviously, due to the circumstances that Citrus Nation is finding themselves in, as Mitch and Matt already talked about. But students of the game, they're going to make that run, not through the main event, not only through the main event, but also we get to see them in Dallas, and we're going to see how they're going to stack up against the international competition. So our top three are therefore locked in. We know who will be representing the region in Dallas, but they still have to play it out here in NA for money and, of course, the circuit points.
I will say the last time students played Toronto Defiant, it was pretty decisive in favor of Toronto, so we'll see if Toronto was shaken at all by their loss to M80 or students have found some way in. But for students of the game, for all these players, it's a huge accomplishment to get top three, to secure your place at DreamHack Dallas, to play on LAN. I'm excited to meet these guys in person, say hi. I think these are some players we'll continue to see more of. And the same can be said, though, for the folks on Citrus Nation. I think Tap, huge game here, even without Lethal. Even when things were in flux, Tap still was a really strong performer in this series. So his Tracer, I think, is one to really watch out for in the future of competitive Overwatch in North America.
Yeah, this is such a big moment for all the players on Students of the Game, because as much as you're always believing in yourself and the direction of your team, going into stage 2, Timeless obviously finishing second in stage 1, had a lot of circuit points. Luminosity, one of the favorite contenders to qualify for Dallas as well, perhaps after Timeless. But with Timeless losing out in groups, and then Citrus Nation, they are the ones to take out Luminosity, really just set up Students of the Game to qualify for Dallas. And obviously, looking back at stage 1, there were a couple of tough matchups for Students of the Game. The way they lost in stage 1, they got beat out by M80 in the winners bracket, and then you lose out to Timeless in the lower bracket. You don't have a lot of choice of opponent there. You're playing two really good teams. But now, this is the one in stage 2 where they qualify for Dallas, defeating Citrus Nation right here. And Sisters on the Tracer stood out player of the match.
Masterful Tracer performance in this series. I mean, really, even I think Tap is one of the other top Tracers here in the mid-table, but Scissors really looks like just an incredible Tracer. I mean, it's a great time when you have a Tracer player this good on your team, and it's something they are going to need in Dallas, because Scissors, he's going to face the toughest test I think he's ever faced playing international LAN against some of the best. Right? Like, that's, I mean, when you start to really hit this level, those are the players you're going to go up against. So I think this is going to be super exciting to see these guys on LAN, to see them play against international competition. It's a huge milestone in their careers, and I think one to celebrate.
Yep.
Yeah, and how fortunate we are that we get to witness that and call all the action. We are now going to have a winners interview, and it is with no other than Scissors, who we haven't seen yet. So welcome to the show. Congratulations on the dub. How do you feel right now?
I'm chilling. Feels good. Yeah. Awesome.
Chilling, feeling good. The phone in the background is going off as well, because don't want to distract you. Don't worry, you can take those right off. That commitment to the interview. I've never seen someone more committed. We'd love to see it. Cesar, let's talk about the series. Obviously, unfortunate on the side of Citrus Nation that they didn't get to play, with their full strength. But moving on, now your next hurdle to make it to the grand final here in the main event is going to be Toronto Defiant. You played them already once. What were your takeaways from that first series, and how do you feel you're going to fare in the second one?
I don't think I can compete. I'm just going to gap. I don't know. Let's put Mirror in again, please. I don't want to.
So I'm just curious how you feel, going to LAN now, being locked for Dallas. That's a huge milestone for you guys. Is that something you thought about coming into this tournament, that was like a live possibility to make it to Dallas? And now that you've got the qualification, how's the mood for you and for the team thinking about going to LAN and having your first appearance there?
I mean, I always thought it was possible, but as soon as Timeless got taken out early, the chances skyrocketed a lot. Then Citrus beat Luminosity, and it was basically I don't know, I feel like it was basically guaranteed at that point. And I'm really excited to chill with PG and Derpy. Hopefully Derpy. I miss that guy.
Yeah, talk to me a little bit about the team overall. We talked to Cal yesterday, and he just said it's a really fun team to be part of. Really, we're having so much fun. You got two support players who likes to joke, play Lifeweaver, have a lot of fun, of course. But also, students of the game. You're trying to improve. Always have the goal of being a better player. Talk to me through the team environment and what makes it so much fun to be part of students of the game.
I think a bunch of people just bring the good vibes, just a vibe gap. I feel like that's our strongest suit, just the vibes.
Honestly, I
yeah,
said it to
vibe's
Kyle
scary.
yesterday. I said that to Kyle yesterday. You know, vibe check is being passed. It shows on the big screen as well when you guys are taken to the games. It looks like you're having fun with it. How do you think your team will stack up against the international competition? Is that anything you even thought about up until now?
I mean, hopefully we can put up a fight. I don't know though. I haven't really like played at that level really. I mean, I did for like a little bit, but like barely. So I don't know. Just do our best, I guess.
And that's the best anyone can do, Scissor. We are so excited to see you and the squad in Dallas, and we're also excited to see you continue on here in the main event. Once again, congratulations, and thank you so much for taking the time for a quick chat.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
Of course.
Really cool.
Awesome to hear from Scissor and also seeing him for the first time ever. I hope whatever placement money they get will pay for that new phone, because that was a...
Hey, good on his bed. It's a
priority.
It'll be okay. It'll be okay.
It'll be okay. Yeah, they built them different, they say.
Yeah,
They do, actually.
It's a big performance for them. It's a huge win, and to make it to land, I think it's going to be super fun to see those guys compete and to see what they can do, against international competition. I think he knows it'll be a tough road for them against the best in the world. But hey, they made it this far. They've earned their spot, and now it's exciting. You know, can you give Toronto a run for your money? That's the type of team you're going to be going up against in Dallas. So this is a match where, regardless of the results here, students of the game, I think this is an important match when it comes to at least be a threat, at least be having some potential. If they could just get a map off Toronto or make the maps very close, I think that would bode really well for their appearance in Dallas.
Yeah, and also like a win like this in qualifying for the Dallas in the first place, it's a big win for these players because it gives you the confidence that you're kind of heading in the right direction. Because when you're part of so many different teams and you're looking for teams and you're thinking like, oh, is there a better situation for me? Do I want to go play with some other players? Obviously, these guys are really close friends with each other. But being granted like the confidence that like, hey, we're on the right path, we're doing the right thing, we're really peaking, we're doing the most we can, that is such a great feeling. So just embracing this event, an opportunity to face some international competition, but really just get out there and face some other players, like getting onto the main stage. That's going to be an amazing experience for these guys, and it will help them move in the right direction for stage 3, stage 4, and even getting closer to DreamHack Stockholm.
Yeah, I mean, going up against steeper competition and better competition, that is how you improve as well. Diamonds are formed under pressure. So far, they're looking shiny to me, and some more gems we got to see in the NA region are going to be on our screens in just a little bit as we're revisiting some highlights.
Oh, Happy highlights? Any time of the day.
Man, it's so great seeing Happy compete again. It's a pleasure. This guy, he's so fun to watch. He plays so many different heroes. Every hit scan just looks effortless for him. Toronto defied. Indeed. I mean, what a win here for M80, right? I think
this was crazy.
They were. I feel like I had started to genuinely doubt this roster after. I mean, frankly, they underperformed. I think for quite a while. Yes, there's the ping issue, but they just weren't gelling fully as a team. And today, the way they took it to Toronto, I mean, you could tell even Toronto was flustered. And so far, no one has done that to them. No one has put them on the back foot like that. Made it look like you can actually take these comp matchups. Toronto always is leading like that. They're always winning. They always have a better comp. They're always counterpicking you and staying ahead. And I think M80 adapted admirably and are going to take that momentum going into the grand final.
I think it's also so great for the region because it is really hard to stay on top. And it is really hard when you don't really, if you're Toronto Defiant in this case and you've been the best team for like months in the region, to stay sharp, to stay locked in. And now, with M80 really competing for that #1 North American slot, that's just going to fuel the Toronto Defiant team even more motivation to put in even more hours. Hey guys, we need to do better. We need to figure out what works for us. This is really healthy for the scene going into DreamHack Dallas.
Absolutely. But, as my former teammate from Atlanta Marine said in the post-game interview, Gator did say they came to make a point, and I think they made that point pretty clear. I can't wait to see what they got for us in the grand final. Let's actually take a look at the schedule to see what awaits us at the final day of the main event.
The best of the best. Here we go. Top 3 EMEA, top 3 NA. It's going to get some banger matches.
I do feel, though, that both regions, I would be very surprised to see the third place team make up.
Yeah,
it's kind of a top 2 situation.
Jake, you didn't have to say that.
Sorry, guys. I keep it real. I keep it real. It would be unreal to see Peps or Students of the Game pull an upset. It's always possible, though. I mean, I think a lot, like this stage, even more than last stage, I feel we've seen some momentous upsets.
Yeah.
And so I think you can't take anything for granted, especially in this meta where team play is everything.
Yeah. And as much as, EN's the favorite against Peps, Paps has so much to play for. Their spot is not locked in for Dallas. Twisted Minds eagerly awaiting, limited of course. Are we going to
Twisted
qualify
Minds
for Dallas?
Preying on the downfall of Team Peps.
Yeah, they're praying for the downfall of Team Peps. So, you know, motivation is not always the thing. It's very hard to fight uphill if you're the worst team in Overwatch. But there's always a chance, Zoe. There's always a small chance.
There is always a chance. If you want to believe, if you truly want
You gotta believe.
You have to believe. That's right. That's the spirit. Now we are done for the day, guys. Thank you so much for once again sharing all of your insight and then some thinking back on that Torp and Ryan discussion for absolutely.
That's insight, all right?
Thank you.
That is insight.
Rent-free in my head. Something that also lives rent-free in my head always is SK because she's incredible and that's why we are going to rate her. She said she's going to hop into ranked games. So head on over there, join us in the raid. Wish her good luck. Send those good vibes. We will be back again tomorrow, 10 a.m. PT for our final day of the main stage, stage 2. Main event, stage 2. Almost nailed it. Goodbye. See you.
That's my
Goodbye.
Lucio. Bye-bye.
Monster on either sides of that magnetic grenade. Just get a lot of utility.
Exodial is farming on the Cassidy. Every other shot is a headshot. It was keeping like 3 people at bay. And then he gets instantly frozen. Nothing left to save Hardy, unfortunately. Bob still comes out though as they've ended up trading a kill with Kevster. Got to be careful though. Kai in amongst that lamp activates that turret 4. Bob's not going to be able to get a decent angle on him, but Spark it is. Kai ends up falling over and Vestola's now the only one in the front line. No one's left. Vestola ends up falling over. And by some miracle, Space Station are able to win this without Hardy.
One bar. Nice. Oh my god.
Stop them.
I still plan to get you home safe.
I don't know what muscles go into twerking, but maybe the hip muscles, like, you know.
It's not the same as swinging.
He's got a big armor, like, he's thick. Like, he's out there swinging, you know?
Had to recall early in the fight. It's lethal. Catching the Tracer. It's lethal. What a beautiful shot. Now it's going to be false with the Terror Surge. Zeb holding onto theirs. A neutral gets the first Kitsune Rush. Everything working in Citrus Nation's favor now. Vision's forced to slide away. False caught by a Javelin, and Tap now looks to find a pulse bomb connection. Doesn't need to. Vision's going to find just the one, but it's not nearly enough. And Citrus Nation get the job done. They take Saravasa and the series.
Thank you, Zoe. It is me here with myself. I'll move over a little bit so I have some legs. I would just be move over a little bit right there, yep.
Gets another fortify with that Terror Surge. Rupal Immortality Field used, knowing someone is low. It's going to have to be a Javelin spin for him. The Pulse from Sugar Free. That's big, but they've lost the Orisa. Toronto now playing with only 4 and no durability in their front line. A dangerous prospect, but M80 have lost the lion's share of the healing and the Susu. It's a 4v4, but Sugar Free gets caught out, runs straight into Hawk, and then he's eliminated. Then M80 finally have a chance here to dethrone the kings of the OWCS. Then they do so in style.
Obviously, the Toronto players are insane, not to them, but just in NA in general. There's a lot of yapping, but there's not a lot of career results.
Completely squished. Your tattoo will be ruined.
I'm not. I'm just testing them out, Ben. I'm trying to figure out what to do. Otherwise, I'll just start like this.
I don't think it's gonna go. Oh. Let me not feed. I'm in a ranked game. Hi friends, welcome. Oh, there it goes. Hello. How do you do? I should have prepared something. Like a song or a dance or an introduction, but I didn't. We're just playing ranked. Oh god, I'm gonna kill this guy. There's a Lucio behind me. CB had a PowerPoint. That's too funny. I love CB. Yeah, I got nothing. I'm SK. I play every hero, but I'm really good at Lucio. This season, I'm Adventure One Trick, but I'm playing Lucio for you. You're welcome. Prepared by being... Oh yeah, true, true. No, this is... We're GM2 right now, so I'm like top 20. Oh. I'm top 20. If we win a lot in a row, we can be champion, and then I'll be top 10. Yippee! My team is getting freaking owned right now. Wait, we didn't touch.
What? Yo.
Yeah, I thought you were gonna touch, man.
My bad.
Wait, well, we win the fight. We win the fight. Send a message.
You're right.
Nice. I got destroyed.
It happens.
Okay.
Wait, is that Lucio? I
man.
fuck with it.
Yeah, I don't know. Oh yeah, I have battle pass codes to give away that that they gave me. I have 2 ultimate BP. I have some mythic prisms. Is that what they're called? I have 2 normal BPs. I'm stuck. Ooh. I will give them away after this game. Fear not.
Fuck.
Usually, I do marbles. Sometimes I do type racer. But I think with this many people, there's no way to actually verify who won the type race. Oh god. Wait, we're on Lucio Zen. I gotta swap, bro. Oh, you're so low. What just happened? Oh goodness. Yeah, so we're not gonna do that. We'll make it cool and awesome, don't worry. Whoever is the tallest. Whoever is the tallest in chat gets all of the codes. Oh. I think I just... What'd I do? Did I go Kiri? You're 8'9", Empire State Building. Wait, I should have stayed for my ult, low-key. I kind of fucked up. That's okay. That's okay. That's mighty fine. My Zen is in there! I got you! No, we use Transcendence. It's not worth it. Not worth it. Well, wait, what is actually the tallest building in the world? I don't know anymore. I know it used to be the... I don't fucking know. Doesn't matter.
Yo, upper hog.
Oh. Our hog does need assistance. Time to heal bot my way to victory. Lucio was not the move here. Not in the hog mirror. We're quite split right now. My hog seems to be fine, but I'll TP to him. It's fine. Oh, he hooked after. I expected the hook right then. We're getting out of this one. We live these. We live these.
Yeah.
Winnable, right? They're done too? I
Possibly.
think. Hog is here.
Wait, no, okay.
Okay, hold up. I'm dialing
Hog.
in.
Wait, hog one.
Nice. Okay, I'm dialed out. Oh, I got railed. Losing to plate marbles. Real. Real as fuck. Oh. I mean, I have rush. Oh, it's all gone horribly wrong. GG.
GG.
Ooh.
GGS.
Okay. Let's give a code away. 1 per queue. I'm holding you hostage. Do I even have Marbles on stream installed? I haven't launched it since December 2023. What do we give away first? The juice?